Hello, everybody. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 86, Reactionary. Why? Because I just like that word. Actually, I don't really like that word so much. It seems like a small word some people use, but we might get into that later on because we got a lot of other stuff to cover. Con-wise, I got a few coming up. Well, DerbyCon's the next one for sure.
Woohoo!
Still somewhat in flux. Hopefully Wild West Hackfest, but we'll see how things go. And right now, I'm not feeling very good. I'm feeling sick. More that acid reflux.
Oh man.
So I'm taking a chill pill tonight.
Okay. Well,
that always sucks.
Yeah, it does, man. And you know, once again, welcome to Wonderful Wednesday. Yes. Hope everybody's had a good day today. My day was pretty interesting. Of course, I know Adrian's day going through acid reflux is never fun. So hopefully we can make this day a little bit brighter by having fun on the hangouts tonight, and you take a nice little chill pill. But in the meantime, hopefully everyone who's watching by YouTube streaming can check us out and, you know, have some fun tonight. We got some interesting things for you tonight, and I'm pretty sure you like it. And later on in the cast, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite hobbies, my new favorite hobby, which is mechanical keyboarding. Yeah, I just picked up this hobby within like a month. It's been a month now. So, and I just want to show you a lot of the cool things that I've learned within the month of playing around with mechanical keyboards, purchasing keycaps, and everything else. But before we get to that, let's start off with the show notes.
Show notes. All right.
Breach report.
I thought I was getting echo from the YouTube stream, but no.
No, it's just me being. Yeah. So,
all right.
Breach report. So go ahead.
Yeah. Israel's on his way, so I will take over. I just went over these today, so let's grab the first one. So first one we got is this new one called, I'm sharing my screen, Gand Crab ransomware.
Crab.
Yeah, is it Gand or Grand?
Grand Crab.
Yeah, you know, a typo there.
Well, it's a Gand Crab. It was a typo error, but it's a Gand. It's Gand Crab ransomware.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, this variant slammed Florida School District, taking down most of their machines, and it didn't help as well to have a outage from, I think it was some of the storms from Hurricane Florence are coming in and taking out some of the service towers as well. So their entire network went down. No personal identification or personal information has gone out. It does not say if they have removed it or if there is any payout that has been issued yet, but who knows? We'll probably hear more about that later. But at this point, the only thing that's happened is that everyone's midterm progress reports have been
delayed,
postponed. Which to me, as someone who just got out of college, there's sometimes I wish I would have had those immediately, and sometimes that I wish they were postponed as well.
Well, you know, let's just put it this way: some kid right now is sitting at home screaming yes.
Yeah,
that's what we do now.
Yeah,
and with good reason. He probably had a bad grade, needed more time to get his grades up. So
yes, I can play Xbox for one more week.
There you go. That's called priorities.
Yeah, so that was my immediate reaction. Anytime I would get a report card, it's like, all right, I better have done well. Otherwise, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting computer or Xbox time or whatever.
Motivation, man. Motivation.
Yeah, man.
Motivation.
Yep, always got to do that. All right, I don't have to take over these anymore because Israel has now joined.
What time is it?
It's
7:05.
7:05, and we're already into breach report.
You know it. Breach report. Man. Breach report.
Adrian must not be going anywhere for conferences anytime soon.
Unfortunately, Adrian tonight has acid reflux, so he's taking a chill pill, and we're just going to tell him to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. and party on down to the Irongeek. Let's kick it.
Making sure we don't have live video going into any bathroom.
No.
Good. That's important.
Yeah,
well,
we
we
can't
have a
have
no
that.
camera rule over here, so no worries there.
Yeah, you're really gonna have a no camera rule after we get to later on in the show notes.
What's up, AP?
Hey, yo!
Yeah. Just to catch you guys up real quick, and just hopped on the cast. Tonight I'm gonna be talking about my mechanical keyboard habit. Woohoo!
Yes!
So I'm gonna be talking about some cool stuff that I learned. I just recently picked up this hobby within the last month, and I'm gonna talk about some cool stuff that I've learned, and hopefully you guys can learn too.
Hey, I got something for you on that note. I finally found a storage container. You know those like Rubbermaid type storage containers that you can fit a Type M keyboard into.
What?
Yes, I have been. You have to understand. I've been looking for. I have like 10 or 12 Type M keyboards. I hoard the bitches, and I've been keeping them in these shitty cardboard boxes because all the Rubbermaid containers I've found are either too small or not deep enough or not wide enough. I finally went to this mecca for OCD called the Container Store. And they have this big black industrial rubber container that is the perfect size. You can fit like 5 Type M keyboards into it.
Nice.
And they stack and they lock into place, and it's OCD heaven.
Look at that. See? Growth, ladies and gentlemen. Growth.
Growth. I just had to put that out there. And you know, I feel so much better that my beautiful little keyboards are not getting, you know, fucked up and having the keycaps ripped off and shit.
That is true.
Keycaps are expensive, but
and you can't replace them. Some of them. I mean, these are original Type M's.
It's an artifact.
IBM logo and all.
Yeah, and
that's what the pharaohs used.
And it probably has the original key switch from 1984.
Israel, you almost made me just spit up Mountain Dew all over my computer.
You're welcome.
I've got one of these that is so old that I had to go online to like the Tomb of the Ancients.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that happened this week, right? They found your keyboard alongside that new Sphinx.
I had to get an adapter to take the 5-pin DIN plug to a PS2.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that is definitely old school.
I had to go 5-pin DIN to PS2, PS2 to USB, and then USB into my system.
Oh, don't lie. You went USB into a Raspberry Pi and made it wireless.
No. We run on Adama mode over here. My house runs 100% on Adama mode.
Wow.
Adama mode?
Yes.
That's the Battlestar thing.
Yes. With the remake of Battlestar Galactica, everybody shit on Commander Adama because he would not allow any wireless anything. Everything had to be hardwired because Cylons.
Yeah.
Because Cylons hacked into the shit, and that's how they lost a bunch of ships. So he's like, yes, everything is hardwired, and there's no wireless anything.
So do you still have a flip phone?
You know what? I have 3 of them.
Oh, speaking of phones, well, not phones, but I'm trying to get a Hack the Planet yellow pager.
I have one.
Are you willing to part?
I will tell you this much. It's not yellow. If you want it yellow, you have to paint it, number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, they are incredibly cheap because it's called the Motorola Advisor.
That's what it is, yeah.
It only works on the POSAG, the Post Office Central blah, blah, blah format, which almost nobody uses anymore.
Yeah.
You cannot buy commercial service on using that protocol anymore. I've tried for the last 3 months to find it. The only places that still use it are people that have bought their own paging system.
I wonder if you can make a paging system.
That would be cool to have.
There's plenty of ham radio people have already done it.
That would be cool to have like at DerbyCon or any con really, just to be like, all right, we need someone here now, or just like meet up with people or whatever. Yeah, that'd be fun.
The how-to on how to do that, it's all over the net with the ham radio operators.
I'm gonna check it out.
But yeah, I had one of those pagers back in 2000,
and
everybody moved to Flex, and there's no way to adapt it to Flex.
There's no flexing to Flex,
but you can build your own transmitter and make your own toys to send pages to it if you know the cap code. If you don't know the cap code, there's some hardware you have to buy, and the software is out there. I think I have a link for the software so that you can reprogram it. All current pagers have the ability to be programmed by hand on using the display.
Nice.
And they can hold up to some of them can hold like 6 cap codes.
Okay.
But on the older pagers, you had to hook it up to a little cradle and then into a serial port and run some software in order to program the cap codes.
Man, the power of a customization, man, I tell you.
But yes, the Hack the Planet pager, I was proud to carry that sucker for years.
All right, without further ado, let's segue over into more ransomware.
Yeah, this time in Canada.
Canada.
So you guys already hit Florida?
Yeah, we did. So now we flew up to Canada.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so this week, what I did, at least if you guys watch the show notes or look at the show notes, anything that was ransomware, I'm in the future here just going to start grouping it all together. Because we usually have 2 or 3 per week, so just put it all together. If you want to see some ransomware, pop. So,
I actually received a piece of ransomware, the fake one, this week. I got the fake ransomware in my inbox. The one that says, we have your password and we have videos of you doing pornography.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've covered that. Yep.
Yeah. I don't normally get these, and I got one of those this week in my email.
Oh, you'll be getting more. Don't worry.
They want to give you a love tap.
Just want to make sure you remember they're still there.
Well, if you've got pornography with me in it, God bless, because you're going to go blind when you see that shit.
Just tell them that they owe you money now.
Or they might send you fan mail.
Yeah, you want your royalties.
Just reply back, so it was good, right?
There is a particular brand of porn where people want you to have it, and they want you to call them up and say, I'm going to expose you. And people get off on that. They get off on the threat of being exposed.
So it's no different than when some guys get off on having a woman yell at them and slap them?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Canada.
Yeah,
Canada, eh? Mounties, huh? So, yes, we had a ransomware outbreak that shut down a Canadian town, and they are paying the ransom. This is one of the few that I've actually heard that they're paying the ransom. So the attack happened September 1st, shut down essentially every one of their systems, and I'm guessing it probably used the Eternal Blue, to navigate SMB, to spread quickly, which everything these days are, because, we're done with originality.
GanCrab did not use SMB, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it didn't actually. That is true.
But you're right about the originality, though. So
yes, I mean, but once you've got something that works, you don't really deviate from it all that much.
Nope.
But this was the one thing. Supposedly, since they are paying the ransom, it says. Let me see. Infected email. So their email was down for 48 hours. They may have brought that up off a backup or something, because as of the writing of this, I don't think they had paid yet. They were working on getting the payment over. But this still is. I'm hoping this was a targeted attack and they can't actually pay since they want to pay. But a majority of these, there is no option to pay. the Bitcoin address has been shut down. The information or there is no decryption method, just because somebody bought the front end code, not realizing it was crap code, and or they just didn't care.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't even say what the town was. Midland, Ontario. So there we go. They got popped.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could find the amount, and I found this article relating to it. The nearby town of Wasaga Beach, Ontario. Sorry, Wasaga. Sorry, Wasaga is a town in Minnesota that's near me.
Of course it is. It's Minnesota.
Yeah, it's Minnesota.
Lake Minnetonka.
Yep, Minnetonka, Ontario, Isanti.
Okay.
All those.
La Cucaracha.
No, we do have.
Oh, that's on the other side of the state. Yeah.
Okay.
That's in the Dakotas. Anyway, Wasaga Beach was hit by a similar attack in the spring. They also paid the ransom demand, and it was the equivalent of $144,000 to about $35,000 worth of cryptocurrency.
$144,000 worth?
Yeah. So the town has pegged the overall cost of the attack at more than $250,000. So there were like two separate areas that they had to pay the ransom for, like two affected areas.
Yeah.
And each of them together was about $250,000 in just total cost.
Yeah,
so
that is
not even just saying the ransom.
Yeah, they should have. And two, if anybody out there doesn't know, most of the time you can negotiate with the the bad guys, and certain companies are really good at negotiations. And so if somebody were to pay the ransom, usually you could get that knocked down by 50 to 60, 70%. Wow. Because oftentimes the bad guys are thinking, okay, we're going to get like 5 computers. And so it's a different story whenever they hit 200, 300, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. And they're not expecting they were going to make that much money. And so you can sometimes get data back, first off. And then in those sometimes, you can oftentimes get it at a reduced price. Hey, bartering is alive and well.
Yeah, the government might not negotiate with terrorists, but companies have to.
That's not bartering, that's haggling.
It is. Yes. Yeah. I heart haggling.
I heart haggle.
Okay, next up, we have Bristol Airport. Flights are now being displayed, like flight information, on this awesome, amazing new tech. It's called whiteboards. Because Bristol is in the UK, they got popped with ransomware.
Nice. I got a question. What's up with the airports? It's like
airports are all over the place here lately. They
getting hit hard.
Airports can get hit hard because they have, especially the ones over in Europe, a lot of their systems are stuff that's going to be stuff that's affected from Eternal Blue era stuff, or they're just outdated. And also some of the security practices that we see commonplace or are commonly regulated in the United States are not always as heavily regulated or regulated as all in the European states, or in European countries, sorry.
Also, airports and air traffic in general have enormous numbers of legacy systems that cannot be upgraded.
Exactly. Thanks for mentioning that. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just had to comment on this comment. F. King Lago says, "Pump your chest and yell Midwest." Ow!
Right here with you, dude. Right here with you.
Ooh, you got a fan. Somebody out there in the Midwest. Go ahead, man.
Heck yeah. Okay. So it looks like it did not affect all of their systems, thankfully. It looks like they probably had segmentation in place, whatnot. Maybe they were in Linux here or there. That would be a crazy thought. But But at least on the flight screens that showed incoming and departing flights, yeah, those were all running Windows, it sounds like, and that was the system that got popped. So they have gone to whiteboards to manually write incoming and outgoing flights and flight numbers, and somebody's hand, I'm sure, is getting tired. But
yeah,
let's see, anything else here?
You don't mention what the ransomware.
Correct. Yeah, like what the dollar amount was.
Well, not what the ransom was itself, but the program.
Correct. Yeah, the variant.
Yeah, whatever variant or whatever thing. It's not the only airport I just managed to steal building plans of various security protocol. Yeah, that might be unrelated. Maybe this was yeah, they're saying it might be the same as what happened in Australia, where a guy just walked in, plugged in a USB, and then boom, worm.
Wow.
Wormy.
At least that's what this article is saying. There's no statement from the airport itself. It's just the article, so it's whatever the author is coming up with.
Maybe it was a cute little rubber ducky.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I posted that, I think, somewhere.
Maybe it was Howard the Duck.
It could be Howard the Duck.
Mm-hmm. Quack, quack.
Yeah, I posted something, I think on Twitter, DIY rubber ducky, and it costs like $10.
It was like a teensy or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was. I mean, it was pretty sweet.
Huh.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those.
So, what are we talking about when we mean a rubber ducky? Because coming from a radio background, there's an antenna design that's nicknamed the rubber ducky.
So, a rubber ducky is a USB
device,
scriptable keyboard, basically.
Yes.
So you can load up, and it's made by Hack5. What you can do is you can write scripts in their scripting language, which is called Ducky script, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
That is the correct word for it. Or Ducky, yeah, Duck script or Ducky script, and you can have it do basically any function that a keyboard can do. You can script it to do that. So you can have it open up ports. You can have it just say hi on a notepad. Yeah, the possibilities are endless with that stuff. with this guy, install keyloggers, pull down files, pull down payloads, all that kind of stuff.
There are like some scripting, like you can run Python directly on it sometimes, depending upon the security of the end system, you know. But you can run scripts and everything directly from it because the computer interprets it as a keyboard, and then it just doesn't care about anything else that it does once it's seen and said, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool, you're a keyboard."
Interesting.
Yeah, you could almost use it as a full-blown USB drive.
Yeah, and I think there's also something called the Twin Duck firmware. Sorry, where you can have it act both as the HID or human interface device to run the script, and then also have it store files on there so that you could actually load the payload onto the computer at the same time as well from the rubber ducky as well. I have to look into that a bit more.
What's this load payload onto a computer? We don't load things anymore. We just run everything directly in memory. Thank you.
Well, yeah, we do.
Well, like, let's say you wanted to just like run Netcat on there, and Netcat's not on the machine. Just quickly install Netcat on there from the USB. There you go.
Or
you know,
and another segue to that too, real quick. Even if Netcat's not installed on there, and you're really good at programming, you can write a Netcat clone using Python, because 90% of the time Python is everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Do that as well.
That's better than installing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if you could containerize on it. That would be a whole. That would be interesting. Too. Yeah. Woo! That's. Yeah.
So yeah, that. Winding back to the article, that's probably where this. That's what this report is suggesting that maybe it's another USB stick kind of attack. Sticking it to the airports, apparently.
We love USB sticks. Stick it to the man.
Literally. No, don't do that.
Yes, only do that if you are paid to do that by the company.
Stick to the man.
You know, be a white hat.
And it's past legal and
don't
all
be
that.
Bad.
Don't be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Be a nice guy.
Yes.
Make more money that. Wow.
You make a lot more money legally.
You get to keep more money legally.
Yeah, ultimately, I think and that would be a good research study to actually look at black hat versus white hat, who actually does make more money over the long term. You know, because the short wins, I'm sure the black hats get more, but over the long term, I have a feeling white hats at minimum equal and probably surpass.
Oh yeah, they do. And plus, here's the thing: more than money, peace of mind. Peace of mind of knowing that you're not going to be somebody's boyfriend in jail because you did something stupid. Okay?
Hey, I don't know. That's trying to determine what somebody's sexuality is and all.
Hey, listen.
There's a lot of assumptions about federal prison that aren't necessarily valid. Having had...
Hey,
go there.
Listen, I'm sorry. After seeing Scared Straight, the 1978 version, I'm done. Okay?
That's cool, Charles. I'm just saying that, like, the hackers I personally knew who wound up spending time in federal prison went to the prisons that literally looked like community college campuses, and they said at a certain point out on the front lawn, there was a sign that says, if you are beyond this sign, you have officially escaped. And everybody stayed on the other side of the sign because they knew that they would not be going to any place that was better than where they were. They were going somewhere first.
I mean, that's fine. Hey.
Yeah, but to what year was that?
Yeah.
2003 to 2006, I think, was when they were in.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I mean, that's getting towards the end of the older days, you know. But here in the last 10 years, the government's actually started coming down a lot more on hackers and prosecuting them and doing, 20, 25-year sentences, except for the big exception today that came down. Fry botnet. Everybody heard about that, right?
Yeah, they fucked those guys good.
Yeah.
They did.
They fucked their community service and turned it into FBI service.
Yes.
Further proving the FBI can't find its ass with both hands and a hunting dog.
It's true.
So they are an exception, but they're one of the few exceptions I've heard of in the last decade.
The golden era of getting busted and then getting, being able to work it off with the feds is over.
Yeah.
Like, they will put you in PIMPTA. Okay, that's pound me in the ass jail.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm telling you.
And it has nothing to do with your sexuality when Big Bubba comes in at 4 a.m. and puts a pillow over your head and says, guess what?
Exactly.
Oh, come on. Goes to jail.
They are not coming in there with flowers and candy. They're coming in there with a give and an elbow.
They're coming in to give you the candy.
And I'll tell you what, ramen soup does not make a good lube.
All right, back to the show notes.
Yeah, back to the show notes.
By a show of hands, who here is ever going to eat ramen soup again? Okay, that's what I thought.
Dude, I'm just reminded of all the times that I ate ramen in college now. Thank you. All right, TV licensing admits it led 25,000 people to send unencrypted bank details.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with this one, but the big thing on this story that I wanted to point out is that they said some transactions carried out on the website, and I quote, not as secure as they should have been. Really?
Sounds like a euphemism.
No comment.
Oh my gosh. Like how? Okay, first off, how do you allow a press release go out and say something as asinine as that?
When you are uninformed as much as that, I guess.
Wow.
No, you gotta understand, interns and low-level people, that's how it happens. Just like one of the lowest of the low jobs in television is the teleprompter operator. They practically don't have them anymore. And you saw what happened with that airplane crash thing a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the crash. Yes.
Yeah, it was a crash.
When they named off the crew.
Yeah.
It was like, something wrong, way too low. Ding, bang, ow.
No, holy fook.
Holy fook, right?
Bing, bang, ow.
Bing, bang, pow, yeah. Oh my god.
I have that. That was the first video on YouTube I favorited.
Woo!
Yeah, and you go back to Anchorman, and the people just reading the stuff straight off the screen. Holy crap, they really do.
Yep.
We'll put
I had that job for many a year, working in broadcast TV.
Yeah?
And this is back in the analog days. Where
you ever slip some nuggets
you used to put
in
a
there?
sheet of paper on a conveyor belt. Not like it is now when it's all digital.
Nice.
And you could put anything in there and people would read it. So when you hire, barista the intern to come in there and write, the the Russian literature major with a second in English to write your press reports, guess what? Holy fook.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Okay, here's another one. In a statement, it said in a statement that as soon as the issue was discovered, we took the website offline and fixed it. We're really sorry that this happened, but want to assure you that the risk to you is low, and we've taken action to ensure it doesn't happen again. Whew, man, I feel safe.
Yeah, and I love you, and the check's in the mail, and I promise I won't come in your mouth. How about when this happens again, we will be better prepared for to rectify the situation more expediently.
How about they also list
what by opening wider?
Yeah. How about they also list some of the measures they took to ensure this does not happen again?
Yeah. You can't ensure it does not happen again. You can't do that. It's impossible.
Yeah, we know you can't. But a company that is regular verbiage for them. But at least list, what the problem was, what you did to fix it. Well, what the problem was, admit guilt, what the problem was, and what did you do to fix it.
And people always leave out, what are you going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
If you say it's not going to happen again, that's bullshit, because you're going to get hacked again.
Yeah.
If you get hacked once, you're going to get hacked again. Just like your girlfriend runs around Saturday night choking down dicks, she's going to do it again. It's just, that's the way it is. That's life. If you got hacked once, that means there's something wrong with the way your company is set up that allows you to get hacked. And you're not going to fix it overnight. You're not going to find a solution overnight.
Correct.
Your dog shits in the yard. Unless you whack it with a newspaper, it's going to shit in the yard again. It's just, you cannot say with any degree of honesty, this will never happen again. 2 days later, a 0-day comes out for your router, and next thing you know, all your traffic's going to Russia, and they're buying, tampon removers instead of your product. It's just, you can't say that shit. You have to be realistic. I would have more respect for a company that says, yes, we've been hacked, we dropped our pants, we bent over, we took a yard of sausage. Now, here's what we did to fix it. If it ever happens again, we change our policy and procedure to better deal with it, and we're hiring someone who knows what the fuck they're doing instead of the boss's, son-in-law who sits here playing World of Warcraft and, watching anime all day.
Look, I love the PETA methodology. I call it the PETA methodology. Pants around the ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's one thing to drop your pants. It's another thing to put a neon sign on your back that says "Come and get it."
Oh boy.
hot and ready.
and it's pretty appropriate.
Yeah.
Every time Cappy comes up, this you may like, and it shows
I don't know
some guy's backside.
Yeah, pants are down there.
I
figured that was
broken up backside.
Why guys are obsessed with taking over TV licensing agency?
No, but I agree 100% with AP on that one, man. Like a lot of these companies, and let's not even just the client side of the companies. Look at a lot of these so-called security companies.
Oh, please.
Like, oh, our product can prove and make sure that you're never hacked again. Our product can detect everything.
Very good.
You know how many fights I've gotten into at trade shows over that bullshit?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's a false sense of reality.
I gave a talk at a trade show, and I said there is no silver bullet for protection against being on the open internet. And the douchebag that came after me, it's like, well, contrary to what my esteemed colleague has said, there is a silver bullet, and we're going to sell it to you.
Oh my god!
Back row, like, douchebag.
Yeah, I would have smacked him right out the room.
But
but
my boss wasn't happy. But it's like I thought this was a trade show, not a debate.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the big question: what company has 0% risk?
None.
What?
0% risk.
None.
Oh, please.
It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
And that's the thing.
That's where the communication should be. We've done this to reduce the risk, because nobody's ever going to be a pure quarantine that sits in their isolated sandbox 24/7. There's always going to be a way in, some way, somehow.
Let me tell you something.
You can reduce your risk.
Right.
As we're all sitting on this podcast as hackers, we're vulnerable to some stuff. Everybody has some type of vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's not just a matter of lowering your risk, it's having mitigation in place.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're going to have acceptable risk. There's no way about it.
Yep. Yeah, you won't be able to do business if you get to 0% risk. It's too
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
That's like getting to absolute zero.
Yeah.
That's like 0 Kelvin.
Zero Kelvin.
And our Simone has joined us.
Simone.
Simone.
Oh, you're not even looking and I'm waving.
Say hey. Say wave.
Simone.
It's my little programmer in training.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets so excited.
Little white hat.
Yeah, in training. Woo!
You need to get her
a bunch of geeks.
I'm gonna
derby hat.
The next, I definitely am. The next keyboard I build for her it'll be for her. I'm gonna get the Hello Kitty.
Ooh.
I'm gonna do the Hello Kitty.
Nice.
Oh, Hello Kitty what?
No, I'm gonna make a Hello Kitty mechanical keyboard with the Hello Kitty keycap.
You want to see something funky about that?
What's that?
How many of you out there remember the old school phone freak business?
Oh yeah.
You know what a butt set is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look up on the mighty internet Hello Kitty lineman's handset.
Oh my God.
Look that up and you will see the greatest thing I ever made.
Hello Kitty lineman's.
Hey, it's on kittyhell.com.
Yes.
You know what?
That is the greatest thing I ever brought onto this earth. I made that sucker out of a Harris T22.
Nice.
All right.
And it was not easy.
You like Hello Kitty then? Does that mean that?
No, it was actually a birthday present for. I don't know if you guys know Nikita from DEFCON, who runs DEFCON.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. Well, I don't know her personally. I know of her.
Yeah, I got it for her birthday. I made it for her birthday one year.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, let's move on to govpaynow.com.
Now this is interesting.
Krabs report.
What did they do? Oh, when poor programming leads to leaky data. Hey, another one that got caught with their pants down.
Oh, wait, what leads to leaky data?
Poor programming.
No, you don't say.
I thought it was
something else.
Hey,
I thought it was like cheap Chinese Nick cards or something.
I like some of my taglines. Yeah, so this is a plumber's
problem in the industry with this, no shit Sherlock situations. It's like,
yeah, that's constant.
Crappy programming leads to you getting hacked. Oh, welcome to 1965. Well, hey.
And you know what? I'm gonna make a screen name called Louis Skolnick. Screw it.
Next thing you know, we're going to be talking about input sanitization. I mean, that's a new thing,
right? Whoa! I mean, you're getting to like 1998 now.
I know.
It's new for every guy that is my age who is now going into computer software.
Little tables, man.
AP, I'm gonna say this, man. You guys were around in the golden age of PC, man. I'm envious, man, because you guys got to see it evolve for what it is.
I hate to say this because people tell me I'm lying and I'm full of shit, but I was around when there was literally a phone book for the World Wide Web. There was an O'Reilly book that was like a Yellow Pages that you would look up websites in.
Yep.
By their IP address?
No.
By their domain name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it was in Google.
I mean, I was digging stuff out of dumpsters, to make my first PC. And you can't tell kids that these days.
Right.
We just went down to Best Buy and mortgaged our future.
I used to make, how I used to make my books? Like I said, I'd be on the internet and just print out chapters and put them in big giant Ziploc bags and just mark them. That was my book.
Wow.
Done that.
Yeah. When I couldn't afford, because O'Reilly, it could get pricey, depends on what your hobby is and what you're learning. So, at the time I was getting into MySQL. I was learning MS MySQL, and I was just trying to learn how to write the queries and stuff. And they had books like learning MySQL and learning SQL and stuff like that. So I just started I went on the MySQL documentation site, and I would print out probably a chapter a day. And then just and that's how I learned Unix commands too. The Unix Power Tools book, somebody had it online. It wasn't downloadable by PDF, so I had to just click on the chapter and then just print that chapter off. So I learned all the 80 commands, the base 80 commands. There's 80 base commands in Unix, and then of course as time went on, there's more commands added to it. But there's 80 base.
Yeah,
it's weird that I didn't even know that.
AP, what year was that about?
Oh, when I had the phone book?
Yeah, like 80,
89,
mid 80s. Oh shit, really?
89, 90.
Because I was on in 89.
Couldn't have been 89. The web was only invented in 91.
Yeah. 998.
No, the web was not invented in 91.
I'm not talking about the internet. I'm talking about the HTTP protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was prior to that, even back when I was in grade school.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember getting on the very, very early web, and it was, I was in undergrad as a physicist, and most of the websites there were physics labs like CERN or Fermilab or the Mauna Kea Observatory, because originally Tim Berners-Lee developed the HTTP protocol, HTTP, for physicists to share preprint papers, and they basically, you could hyperlink the paper to all of its bibliographic resources.
Wow.
And that was the reason why I got started. And then everybody was like, oh, I can I can create a site for my lab or for my university or whatever, and it just, but for a long while it was just a bunch of scientists.
Yeah, yeah, because like
what the internet was doing at first as well.
Yeah, it was back in '89. I was in a like my 4th grade class. We took PCs home with dot matrix printers, and then also in 5th grade. But we were chatting. We had a chat program to talk with kids somewhere overseas, China, but I don't remember.
I have a question.
But Prodigy had like their own resource back then for web pages.
Yeah. And I have a quick question. I've never personally used Mosaic. I've heard of it, but was it a pretty cool search engine? Did it have a lot of stuff, or
for its time, it was the only search engine?
Well, yeah, Mosaic was a web browser.
I mean, that's what I said, browser.
Yeah, but it had a search feature ground into it.
I recall the search function not being. It certainly wasn't like a modern search engine.
Right.
No, not by any. That's why I said for its time. For its time, it was the only thing you could call a search engine. I mean, like there was a time when there was only one browser. I mean, remember when installing a browser was an all-day 5-disk thing? You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember having to go in there and preload shit and just dick around all day just to get Mosaic running. And then Netscape came along next. And God, just all the protocols that came on top of that afterwards.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
We had to walk to school in barefoot and snow uphill both ways.
Heck yeah, you did.
I do that when I need to get to my car.
Yeah.
I feel like I should share one of my adventures from that era, because my university had a T1 line, which I remember when we went from a 56K lease line to the T1 line, and all of us were like, "Holy shit, the internet just got fast!" And I would download packages, whatever. The other thing I figured out was, while students had quotas on the Unix systems, like we all had a 5 megabyte per account quota, the student organizations, because I was astronomy club president, our web pages had no quota. So I started downloading Linux packages and sticking them in the directory where the astronomy club had its web page, and I had rights to it. And I would download them fast in the T1 line, and then 5 home, and FTP into the university over my modem, and take them the rest of the way that way, because if I did that, I had a higher probability of getting a good download from over the modem rather than just trying to go direct, and it's going to take me, hours and hours and hours on this FTP site. Well, there was one time where apparently I accidentally filled up the entire disk volume with all of my downloaded wares, and the server started thrashing. So I got a call from the system, and he's like, "Mark, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I was downloading Linux." He's like, "Well, whatever you're doing, stop, because the file server wants to die right now."
Yeah, like back in the day, colleges were by far the best places to proxy off of.
Oh yeah,
by far.
I was responsible for destroying the email system of Colorado College.
Yeah,
not directly. I was indirectly responsible for it. What happened was, it turned out that by some miracle of fate, I was dating this girl who went to University of Colorado, Ding Dong County, whatever. And as things go, we got into an argument over email, and she just did not want to talk to me anymore. So she set up a filter, because she was a geek, obviously. She set up a filter to take whatever email I sent her, turn it around, and send it right back to me. And so I said, well, 2 can play that game. And I said, here's a script that takes any email that you send me, and I'm going to send it back to you.
Heck yeah.
Fill up that I was smart enough to tell my script, don't save it.
Nice.
And what ended up happening was, I sent an email out to her. She sent it back to me and saved it. And then it hit me and it went back to her, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I was almost like a Morris worm. And eventually filled up all of her drive space, and then when the machine she was on folded, it still kept sending the mail. So their mail server folded, which caused a supporting server to fold, and then eventually took down the campus.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. She got in a world of doo-doo for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Stephen Levy, baby.
So they thought that she had mail bombed the university.
Well, she was responsible for the university crashing because she was saving her mail bombs, which got exponentially bigger every round.
Terrible, man.
All she had to do was make one little change in her script that said, don't save the email. And, well, there you go. She would have been fine.
But she didn't want to listen.
No, but she was angry. She was angry.
Yeah.
Hell hath no fury.
Like
yeah, tell me about that.
Like a
like a woman scorned.
Yep.
Check it out.
So I apparently I almost did that one summer, except I wasn't telling either of my scripts to save. The first time I tried mail forwarding between the campus I usually took classes at and where I was doing my summer research, I wound up creating a loop like that. So all my mail was just like continuously circulating. But I won't. Fortunately for me, I didn't crash any servers.
Excuse me, nice. All
right.
I mean, it's fine though, right? As long as you don't get caught. Oh wait, no, that's bad.
I think I bought that server once because it was Novell NetWare, and
yes,
on how much space we could have, but it didn't count directories against space. But directories do take memory. They do take hard drive space. So I end up making a replication inside of one another that we could, and end up.
Hi, Simone.
Hi, Simone.
Yeah, she heard her say hi, right?
Okay, where were we? Were we done with? Yeah, we were done with TV licensing.
Yeah, we're on govpaynow.com. 14 million records.
Woo!
Yeah, 14 million. Man, that sucks. Yeah, so govpay.net is the parent company out of Indianapolis, and online they're govpaynow.com. And essentially it sounds like what they are, so they're kind of like a collection organization that 2,300 government agencies in 35 states utilize. So if you owe a debt, they're going to collect. And not only are they going to collect, but they are also going to allow your information to be leaked out and hijacked.
Dating back 6 years.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. Back to 2012. I mean, that's a lot of customers in a 6-year time frame. 14 million in 6 years.
That's a lot of parking tickets.
Heck yeah, it is.
Because one of those government agencies probably is, maybe law enforcement. But aren't parking ticket or like any sort of tickets paid through to the state or to local?
As long as you pay it, yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing. These guys are kind of like the back end. If you didn't pay it up front, you know, they're the collectors on the back end.
Interesting.
But yeah, 14 million. And did anybody see what data specifically? I'm assuming it was credit card data.
The data specifically includes names, addresses, phone numbers, and the last 4 digits of the payer's credit card, which to me immediately signals that if someone gets their hand on this breach, scammers, they can do some sort of social engineering scamming of these customers as well, posing as that government entity.
That
would be a huge...
Yeah, but too, with the last 4, I forget where it is, but there's a way to, like with 75% accuracy, predict the remaining digits.
Yeah, it's something like that too. But if you wanted to get that specifically and not have to go through that, that's still both of these ways are still valid.
Yeah, I mean, because
I know Visa has like a set algorithm for the first 12.
Yeah,
for the first 12 numbers.
Yeah, because it even on the credit cards, unless they've changed it recently, which I'm not aware of, it was still like your home bank was still represented in that credit card number. So yeah, if you know where the person is, you could just have a payday and then just do a 1 penny charge against it.
Yep.
And then refund it, and then people don't care.
No, they don't.
Excuse me.
Okay, let's move on. Next up, we have the State Department. Maybe multi-factor will be a priority now.
Oh, you think?
Nah, it still won't.
You know, I was in a conversation the other night on LinkedIn where some bright penny said, hey, we've got to move on past passwords now.
What year is this?
Boing, 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 boing. Well, it's not even that. I mean, no one with any common sense does any kind of single-factor authentication anymore.
One would think, right?
It's a layered approach. Everybody tells you layer your security.
Yep.
So it's not that we have to get rid of passwords. We just have to treat passwords as a layer and not as an end-all, be-all.
Yep.
You don't know my password. You don't know my password. That's pretty much what they're saying.
Charles,
we all know. You need some Barcelona for that. Do you remember Barcelona?
Yes.
So you know the song I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. But sadly enough,
for those of you unwashed heathens, I'm putting it into the chat window now.
Check it out.
We will check that out. Over here on the State Department, let's see. So September 7th, in a September 7th alert that was shared with Politico and confirmed by officials, we have determined that certain employees' personal PI has been exposed, and the State Department notified the employees. The classified email system was not affected according to the alert, which was marked sensitive but unclassified. But they also said less than 1% of email accounts, of State Department employees were affected. So I don't know what the total amount of employees at the State Department are, but I still figure that's going to be a massive amount. And 1% is still going to be a sizable number.
So what I found really funny out of this article is federal officials told CNN months later that it was the... Oh, wait, no, this is something else. Never mind.
Yeah.
Worst ever.
Yeah, that was talking about Benghazi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got to throw that in there.
I think this is the last night. Okay. Well, for the breach. So, have any of you recently bought things with blinky lights from Newegg?
Oh, no. I was going to say I bought a car, but not from Newegg.
Well, if you did, I'm sorry. But Newegg was popped. It was actually pretty interesting because the way they did it, they inserted... How many lines of code was it? Like 16 or something?
Yeah, I have it up here. It's not a lot. And this is pretty.
15.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty standard code.
Yeah.
Too, and we've got the explanation to how this works in the show notes as well. An article by Velexity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which I found that weird. So the actual research was done by Velexity, and that's what we have in the show notes. But the person who's quoted in the article is a threat researcher at Risk IQ. Like,
wow.
Okay. So, why?
Who did what?
Yeah. So I wasn't really sure about that one. But
well,
yeah,
that guy saw the research, and he's under TechCrunch's people to like ask like what does this mean? So he probably looked at the research and then commented on it.
Yeah, he's like an Alex Hammerstone. We just default and go to him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like people who default to go to a Krebs report or something like that.
True.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But yeah, so what this code was, it was pretty cool. So what it did was it essentially worked like a credit card skimmer at a gas station, at a gas pump, or anywhere else you go. It sat before the payment processor, and it intercepted the data prior to it going fully to the payment processing algorithm, and it just siphoned off all that data as it went through. And it sat there between August 14th and September 18th, which was yesterday. So you should be good if you purchase stuff today. But yeah, if you purchased anything over the last month, you're going to have to update your credit card.
And the thing is, looking at this, it is not like this is some pretty simple code. Like, this is what I would do if I was debugging jQuery applications. But, yeah, more...
But, too, this is code that was sitting on the server. So, that's what I did not see was...
Yeah, that was going to be my next question was
how did they get the code on the server?
Right.
I'm guessing probably a SQL injection of some type, but, I mean, that's just a guess.
Yeah. It's probably some would be funny. It would be like some FTP, something simple like, oh yeah, our FTP server was open. What?
Well, opener had like the most simplistic cred you've ever seen in your life.
Admin.
Yes.
Admin no pass.
Admin and Newegg rules. Newegg can't be pwned.
Whatever. Anyone can be pwned.
Okay. That's everything with the brief report. It was a lengthy one. There was a lot of crap that happened this week. So next up.
There's one thing. I don't know did you hit it already?
Yeah.
The proposed EAS test was supposed to happen tomorrow.
Oh yeah, where Trump's supposed to
Yeah,
it got bumped.
Yes. That's the funny part. There's a guy that I'm friends with from grade school who added me on Facebook. Okay, good for you. Biggest freaking raging liberal I think I've seen. Just because he's still in grade school, he's still a friend. Unfollowed him, but still left him as a friend. But good night. This guy, he actually called because he was up in arms. I mean, posts every day about it. He called FEMA and spoke with them because it's actually their alert system, or they
part of it is
they oversee the technical side of it. And he was asking all these questions, and then finally he asked, "How did this become Trump's system?" Or how did it get down to being Trump's system? And he said the FEMA guy told him, "I don't know. That's what the news took it to."
Yeah.
I mean, it is not Trump's system. It is a presidential alert system. It's been in place for years.
Is that going to be?
It's more than years. It goes all the way back to Comrade.
Yeah, I mean,
the thing is, they had to pass legislation to keep Trump from fucking with it. That was the article I read yesterday.
Yeah, that I could see.
They're working on legislation to keep him from using it every week to send people a message.
Yeah, because obviously it was just created, and like Trump came up with the idea. Like, come on, this has been in place forever, and if Trump wanted to use it, he could have used it well before now.
Wouldn't this have been used during like the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that stuff as well?
It was prepped for it, but it was never actually used.
Okay.
If the Cuban Missile Crisis had kicked off, then yes, it would have been used.
Yeah. So
that would have been the earlier implementation, though, which was EBS.
Right. So that would just show up on like
Colorado, EBS, EAS, WAS, and there's one more that I can't remember. It's a new one.
So it would
cropping up.
It would show up on like radio.
Other one is Kiss My S.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the system's been so goddamn fragile until EAS came along that it's just so funny.
Yeah. Is it going to be tested for people nationwide, or only those that are like in the Florence affected areas?
It can go either way. Politically speaking, by the book, by the rules, you have to do local tests every 30 days and a national test once a year.
Okay.
You won't see a national test normally, because what you'll do is you'll get the national test message, you'll acknowledge it, but you won't broadcast anything. Now, your local every 30 days, you'll see that, this is a test. Please stand by the blow tone. And, everybody shits their pants for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Unless they realize, wait, it's noon on the first Saturday of the month.
And the other fun part about that is with Android phones, it doesn't actually generate the tone. It actually plays back a wave file of the two-tone signal. So you can actually, if you hack into it, you can change it and fuck with it. And
nice.
The only thing you can't do is you can't turn off presidential alerts.
Okay.
You can turn off Amber Alerts, but you can't turn off things like Weather Service or presidential level, here come the nukes.
Cool.
But the idea of Trump getting a hold of that and getting a hard on and going, this is like Twitter, only better. Try to block this one.
You know what would be cool if you learn how to use MIRC? It would really be on.
You know what? That may be a good diversionary tactic. Give him his own MIRC server.
Mm-hmm.
And then let him sit there and play world dominance on that for a while.
Yep, and make him think he's really tweeting. Put an interface on it. Slap an interface on the back, hit it on the back end is IRSSI.
That guy is so backwards. You could put him on IRC and convince him that he's on Second Life.
And he would love it, yeah. He would like, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm on Second Life. What about you?
The greatest. Like tweets about it. Just got my new Second Life house. It's the greatest. Giant tower. I'm the only one here.
Yep.
I missed Second Life when it first came out because I used to be able to pay my rent running a fucking poker room.
Remember that story.
Then they had to go and make gambling illegal.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. It's the best thing since spray tan.
And hand enlargement pills. I mean, what?
Did you say Ricky Pan? Oh. Yeah.
All right. So next up on the show notes, we've got macking with mechanical keyboards.
What is up, everyone? I hope everybody's rocking out on the cast and really enjoying themselves. Now we're going to be macking with some mechanical keyboards. Ow! Well, just a little bit of background. I am by, and this is just a disclaimer, I am by means no mechanical keyboarding expert. Just a little bit of the backstory. A month ago,
believe you.
You understand the basic rules, though. There are two kinds of people in this world: people who use mechanical keyboards and people who are wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
If you are not on a mechanical keyboard, you are wrong.
Pretty much.
Pretty
much.
You're just a bad human being.
Now, but then there's levels to the mechanical keyboard.
Agreed.
Okay,
but it's like
in general, yeah, but
and then in general, but well, just a little backstory. So a month ago, I was just looking for a hobby, just getting into. I was just trying to figure out different things I wanted to get into. So a buddy of mine who I want to shout out right now, Saf, aka Von Swoopington. You can check him out on Twitter. He does sell these, by the way, too. So
which is awesome.
Von Swoopington on Discord.
You know, that is fun to say.
Yeah, Von Swoopington. So Von Swoopington, myself, and this guy named Joe, which is the Blind Hacker. He's also on Discord with me, and he has a Twitch channel as well called the Blind Hacker. You guys should check it out, man. I mean, he's got some good stuff on it. Anyway, back to it. So went over to his house one day, and he's like, "Look, I'm gonna show you how to build a mechanical keyboard." He said, "You got a solder iron?" I said, "Yeah." Of course, I had the one and like the universal one everybody has from Radio Shack, right? So he says, "Well, we're not gonna be able to use this. I mean, I have something better." Lucy had a hardcore, state-of-the-art soldering kit, which is awesome. So he had a PCB. The first board I built, which is this board, which I'm gonna hold up here for a second. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring this a little bit closer. So you guys can see, what's going on here, up close and personal. So the first board that I built this is the Melody 96, right? Right. Which is pretty cool. And as you can see, these are keys. The lime green key is just a form of my expression with tequila. So as you can see, there's the salt right there. There's the tequila glass. Just little fun stuff. The lime. Just stuff to just have fun with it. The board itself is a Melody 96, and it has the LEDs in the background. Ooh. Yeah, put all the LEDs there. Nice. But before you could get to that part, you had to solder on the control switches. Now, there's several different switches. You got your Cherry MX switch, you got your brown switch, you got your blue switch, which is like the loudest of them all. And somebody just demonstrated. There's more clickety clackety. So the Cherry MX is a lot quieter. So, which, as you can see, is just.
I may have missed it. You may have said, but can you explain to people the difference between like a membrane keyboard and a mechanical keyboard?
Well, the difference is, from what I've learned, and I could be wrong, and please feel free to correct me. I think the difference is with the mechanical keyboard, it's more customizable. Like you could take a key and you could take one key and add a macro to it. You can do for example, if I wanted to make say the down arrow key a mouse click, I can configure the key to make it as like multiple mouse clicks. Or
that's just a function of your driver. That has nothing to do with the mechanical versus non-mechanical.
Okay, well tell me, because I'm just going off of what my experience is. So
the whole thing behind the mechanical keyboard is that it's actually a mechanical device. It's a spring with a clip and two contacts. When you press down on the key, you're compressing the spring. You go past the clip, and point A meets point B.
Okay.
And you have an electrical connection, and it sends a signal out of your keyboard to your computer, which goes through the driver software, and then you get a letter on the key. You get a letter. Now, membrane keyboards are a little different. What they do, they still have two conductors, but it's all plastic, and it's like a little bubble. It's like a bubble wrap bubble, except instead of breaking, it bounces back.
Yeah.
So when you press down on the plastic, the two conductors inside the plastic bubble meet and send the same signal.
Yeah.
This wears out very easily, but if you're old like me or you're a kid, you can spill your juice on it and it won't die.
Right.
Then there's in-betweens too, because in the mechanicals, there are mechanical keyboards like the Type M that use actual metal parts. The springs are metal. The clips are metal.
By the way.
And, clang, when you hit a key, you fucking know you hit a key. Now, there are a lot of other cheaper ones where it's all plastic, where the spring is plastic, or the return is or it uses some kind of, leverage clip.
The gamer keyboards. I like that.
Well, now Modern Gamer, the so-called E-Olympics or whatever the hell they're calling it right now, please bend over and let me smell your fart Olympics. Those people are using like quick reacting keyboards. That's like the cherry
rapid fire,
the cherry browns, and the things that they like. Dang, and it's there. Yeah. They don't want to wait for the relay. But guys like me who've been using Type M since they came out, we'll kick your ass anyway. We don't need to pay $500 for a custom keyboard to have a quarter of a second breach on you.
Dude, it's like they're not that much. They're like you can get one for like $60 that has the MX red switches.
But I mean, there are people out there that will sell you keyboards for that price.
Well,
they have individual LEDs under each key, and you can program it to spin left and right and flash, and there's all kinds of crazy crap you can do when you get to the high end customizable ones.
Right. Well, that's like the Melody 96, right? That one, it was only 150 made in the world. And what was cool about it is just like I said, it's using for that one to program it. I'm using the QMK open source software. Mm-hmm. The QMK is like mechanical, and I'll put it in the
put a link.
I'll put the links. I'll put all the links into the show note.
Okay, cool. I put one into IBM Model M, but I don't have the links you have.
Yeah, the QMK link. Oh, okay. I see where you put it, Adrian. There we go. I just put it in the show notes. Let me take that number out. Sorry. The QMK software is open source software that allows you to program the keyboard. Right. And which is awesome about it, you can program it to do many different things. You can program it to, like I said, with the LEDs, and I'll show you this one I just recently built. And this one is a M65-A. This is what I use for my MacBook. I just program the colors to do that. Nice. To do the, and when I press any button, it turns magenta. So any button that I press is magenta. So I'm still programming this a little bit here and there for what I want it to do. But this is all running. Now with this particular keyboard, you can use either QMK software, or you can use something called the Boot Mapper client. The Boot Mapper client is a lot easier to use. It's of course it's GUI based, but you can actually hold the key and map the key to what you want it to be. So if you want something to really to quickly program your keyboard to do certain things, you can use the Boot Mapper client. But if you really want to get into the nitty gritty and really do some really funky stuff and write macros for one key, that's where the QMK firmware software is. And that's where that's the fun stuff. And what's cool about it, you can actually use it on other projects too. So it's not just keyboards. But
one thing that you might want to jump in on too is that you can program keys from DOS.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I want you to remember back in the bad old days, in the 80-86 days, we would program F1 to be format C:/yes. They were actually pseudo Trojans back in the day that would reprogram all your function keys to format C:. And it was all done inside of DOS.
No, that just rewrites the entire C drive on Windows.
Pretty much. but it's cool that
that's horrible. Oh my God.
You can, but it's hardcore. You can do some really nasty stuff with these keys.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what's and that's what made me really fall in love with the whole I'll say the mechanical keyboard movement is that. It's just the fact that it's a highly custom keyboard that I actually built and I'm proud of. And and it makes me feel like a true Unix guy again. So that's what I got into. Yeah. Because here's the thing, when you like at the desktop, you see me running in the background, of course, it's free BSD. But for anybody that's out there, it's like, oh, I just want to try it. Let me tell you right now, it's not like Ubuntu. You're not just going to jump on, click next, and then everything's installed. It doesn't work that way. And you don't even start off with a GUI. You start off with just a command prompt, and then you have to, of course, install X Windows, configure X Windows, configure it. I don't have to tell you. You got
that banner that says "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here."
Nice.
If you've ever had to configure X windows from a command prompt, that's like a bottle of whiskey right there.
Yeah, it is. Seriously,
you have a bottle of Jack Daniels, and you just sit down and you do it.
Xorgs.conf, baby. But I mean, it takes time, and I'm actually running Fluxbox. This is Fluxbox I'm running.
Nice.
In the background. So before Fluxbox, I was just running like just XFCE. But XFCE was lightweight. It's still pretty cool. But then when I graduated to Fluxbox, I was like, oh, this is even better because I could just cut. My desktop is just a config file. That's it. It's just one config file I got to configure and add whatever I want to the desktop. Like it's highly customizable.
Nice.
You know, so that's why. And now with adding keyboards, because I'm gonna build a key board for my daughter as well. This is the next project, and I'm gonna put this in the show notes too. This is the next project that I hate when that happens. That I'm gonna do. These are the keycaps I'm gonna use for the next project. Check it out. It's called Mackie Keys.
Are you teaching your daughter how to type and stuff?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I actually am. Like I let her play around on the keyboard. You know, just to get a feel for the buttons. I sit there and say, hey, this is the space bar, the letter A. So I'm kind of working with her on the alphabets and teaching her at the same time how to type. Cool. So, you know, it's just fun. And if you guys check out the site, they have the Mackie caps. They're sold out, but they're gonna bring them back. They have Super Nintendo keys.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, the SNES escape keys, and people actually make this stuff, which is cool. Another site that I go to, like I'm all over Reddit, and it's another site called Geek Hack. Geek Hack is all about the mechanical keyboarding community. So if you're new there, you know, they can help you find your way around and everything else and whatnot. Everybody is a warm and welcoming community. And I will put this disclaimer out. This is an expensive habit, okay? It is not cheap. It is not cheap. Some keyboards, because you got to realize people are making custom keys for you. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I'm trying to work with this guy because I want to get some custom, like I sell the NES stuff, but I want to get some custom Final Fantasy keys made, like just keycaps for my arrow keys. Cool. So I mean, it's an expensive habit, but it's a fun habit. You know, you just like I said, you're just having fun and doing different things with the keyboards, and it's just all about having fun, man. And yes.
Hey Charles, so have you thought about going into 3D printing next?
Yeah, and that's a question.
So that
I've never
make your own custom keys.
Right. Good point.
That would probably be a lot cheaper.
Yeah. But again, like right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to go about making that. You know, doing a 3D printing. Yeah. I've never done any type of 3D printing, so I've got to read up on how to get started.
A lot of money and a lot of swearing.
A lot of money, a lot of swearing.
You're gonna take a lot of money to buy all the shit, and then you're gonna watch it fuck up and go, God damn it! Buy more spool, and then put the spool in there and watch it fuck up again. God damn it! You know?
I mean, if Boris can do it, I think you can do it too, Boris.
Yeah. But I'm just saying in general, like, I'm definitely gonna try to eventually. I am gonna try to make my own custom keys eventually. In the meantime, I'm just trying to, like right now, just really learn a lot more, all that I can learn about like the mechanical keyboarding scene. And look, you just taught me something new tonight about mechanical keyboarding in the IBM space, you know? And it's always something new to learn. And anybody that's interested, you know, I put the links out in the show notes as well too. So I put out Geek Hacks and Mass Drop. I believe Mass Drop bought Geek Hacks, or I think it was the other way around. I can't remember, but they're all like the same company, so they're all in like cahoots. But you can take a look at some of the keyboards that's out there that you might find interesting.
Hey,
So
I just dropped something on there for you over at Thingiverse. They have 3D printer files for keycaps.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Yeah, on Thingiverse.
Nice. Thingiverse. Okay, I'm looking at it right now.
I just dropped it on there.
Yeah.
How does Mass Drop work exactly? Is this like bulk purchases, but you get a bunch of individuals to pledge the purchase? How's this work?
Mass Drop works as a Mass Drop will go out to vendors and say, hey, we'll buy this much for XYZ price, depending on how many people pledged for it. So then they go to their users and say, hey, we're going to say we've got this contract with NVIDIA. This is how a lot of my friends would get NVIDIA cards for really cheap, like a year ago. They'd have like a GTX 960, GTX 1060, something like that. And it would
lockpicking deals.
There's a lot of lockpicking stuff there as well. One of my buddies got a lockpick off there. It was a 8-piece set that I think was going to be like $40, and he got it for like 12.
What's this site?
Massdrop.
Massdrop.com. And so you'll go there and you'll you'll say, yeah, I'll buy this. You give the money up front for it. And then they will refund you if the price drops.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So if the price drops, that amount from the initial amount that you paid gets given back to you, and then you still get the item no matter what. So when you say, yes, I'm going to buy this, whatever price that's at, even if it drops or not, you'll still get that item.
Yeah, so
they have it in stock.
That's cool.
Yeah,
but
so
I'm still make
yeah. But I'm learning a lot about this community, and again, this is all like because I started out. My first mechanical keyboard was the Corsair K70 mechanical keyboard, and that was a gaming keyboard. But I just wanted to, get my feet wet with just mechanical keyboard, some type of mechanical keyboard. But when I first bought it, now I bought version 2, but I had to wind up taking it back because the patch that I had for FreeBSD never worked. So I had to patch. Remember, I told you I had to patch the FreeBSD in order to get the keyboard to work, to be recognized? Yeah, so the patch that I had never worked for that particular version. So I had to go back and get a K70. So the K70 worked with the patch. So I had to add in the RC conf file quirk-hw-Corsair K70. Save, reboot with the keyboard plugged in, and then all my keys worked. But yeah.
It's got a couple. I don't think that one. I'm looking through like a bunch of wires to see mine. That one doesn't have a whole lot of extra keys, just a couple media keys.
Right, and that was my first mechanical keyboard. And then my buddy Von Swoopington, he said, "Look, I'm gonna put you onto some real mechanical stuff. Are you ready for the challenge?" I'm like, "What the heck?"
You do baby steps.
Yeah, I went the baby steps. So, but yeah, I went over to his house. My goodness, like the habit is just like it's so many keyboards. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wait, and then so real quick, is his real name Von Swoopington, or is that just a handle? Oh,
that's
good.
His handle.
I mean, because I go over to I go to Bodie McBoatface's house like every weekend. I mean, we're like that.
I don't put people's real name out unless they want me to.
Von Swoopington. I love him.
Discord, man. Dude is awesome, man. You guys gotta check him out, man. He's pretty awesome. And I don't know if you guys are on Twitch like that, man, but definitely check out the Blind Hacker Twitch feed. A little bit of story on Joe, and I'll just say, I can say Joe, but there's a lot of Joes in the world. But Joe, he's telling me what time he actually, because he really is blind, but he does pen testing, and he amazes me every day. Just like I tell people this all the time because I'm just like, there's no excuse for not being what you want to be, regardless of what you got going on in your life. You could get out there and and try to be whatever you can become, whatever you want to become now, especially with the internet, you know. And it's really inspiration. I like watching them work on Twitter. I mean Twitter and Twitch mainly.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a fun deal. And again, I'm super appreciative of just being amongst a good company, you guys included. I enjoy it. No, I enjoy it. I always look forward to Wednesdays, and now we got AP in the fold, and he brings me back to my like the era that I missed. Yeah, the roots. I literally broke out the Stephen Levy book.
Nice.
Yeah, all I gotta say is I put the old in old school.
Yes. The Stephen Levy, and my favorite book of all time, which I started learning programming. Everything I did backwards. This is the first language I started learning. But this book is the first book I picked up for like program learning, you know, and learning C, which eventually teaches you assembly if you with using the GCC compiler. So, you know, you kind of learn two languages for the price of one, in a way. So as you're writing your code in C, and then you compile it using the GCC compiler, and I think you put the S switch in there to get the assembly code that was written as you run your code.
Yep.
And you can go back and look at the assembly code and just, you know, along with some help on tutorials on what you're looking at, like, you know, move, push, pop, the default commands, and then there's you know, more that you can learn from. But like I said, guys, it's all a process. I love doing this, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yep.
I remember I used to carry around TCP/IP Illustrated Volume 2 wherever the fuck I went, and that is a big book.
Yes, that book is a briefcase.
Oh, hey,
seriously.
That was something I forgot I wanted to mention when we were talking about the EBS crap.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that the EBS and EAS is baked into the TCP stack?
I didn't know that.
If you look, from the very origins of time when TCP was created, there's a precedence flag. And not a lot of people even know about it. They barely teach it. But it's got regular traffic, flash override, and NNO, National Network Override. And it's designed, the flags are designed to expedite traffic in the case of an emergency.
See, this is, you know what, man? And this is an excellent point. Anybody out there and you're new into the world of networking, if you just started networking yesterday, I would say look for that TCP/IP Illustrated book, volume 1, 2, and 3. And look at these RFCs. Like, go back to the old obsoleted ones. You'd be surprised what you find it. You'd be like, hold up, where did this come from? Look at those old docs, man. They there for a reason.
Yep.
They're there for a reason. And you'd be surprised. Like each day when I look at something, I'll be like, man, I remember that command. I remember this. You'd be surprised. And if you don't realize, we're working off every day of our lives. We're working off something that's over 40 years old. Think about it. If it wasn't for the C programming language, you wouldn't be doing Windows. I wouldn't be sitting here on this Mac right now. I wouldn't have this desktop in the background running my awesome operating system.
Yeah, I feel the same every time I jerk off.
Yeah,
I'm dealing with shit that's way over 40 years old.
Explosion.
Take cover, Arizona.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Sometimes it just make you think. Like when people use the VI editor and the Vim editor, I'm like, yeah, that's over 40 years old. If you're using the awk programming language to process a string or whatever, that's a 40-year-old command.
Yeah, made in the 70s, which explains why you have to be on LSD to actually fully understand it.
No, you don't have to be on LSD.
I know.
Awk is English.
Mushrooms, man. You need mushrooms for awk.
No, awk is English.
Said you need a little cocaine in the mix for said.
I don't do coke, but I understand said.
Now VI is pure cocaine.
Man, he's just breaking me down right now. Go ahead.
Your face was awesome there.
Wait, VI's what?
VI's what?
You ever see somebody who really knows VI? It looks like they're on cocaine. They're like, colon, plus, backspace, slash, bam, boom. Fuck!
I know VI very well, but I'm not on no cocaine.
I'm with you there, Charles.
I'm talking about from VS Split to ZZ to Control W to switch back and forth between files, all the other fun stuff to do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Something about that percent sign, semicolon. Oh, don't get me started.
And then there's Emacs where you're just on meth.
You know what?
Emacs is Satan worship.
No.
Just fuck that shit.
You know what? Emacs is just say no.
Exactly.
Don't even do Emacs. Emacs is an operating system disguised as the file editor, as an editor. It's ridiculous. Like, I hate Emacs. And anybody on the and anybody that's on the cast right now or on in YouTube land, challenge me on it. I'm telling you.
Change my
mind because VI will blow away Emacs any day.
Well, there's an IRC client written in Emacs.
It could. Hey, you know what? Emacs. Donald Trump suits can be made of Emacs. I don't care.
Oh, I don't use that shit. No, don't get me wrong. I don't touch that Emacs political shit.
Stuff, but like,
no, I can't. It's like, okay, like, and people out there, and I'm a VI. I love VI to death. But stop knocking people who use Nano. Nano's awesome.
Yes,
Nano's awesome.
Wait. Why is it okay to knock people who use Emacs like me, but not Nano?
Because Emacs did a difficulty. You know what it is? Emacs did a disgraceful thing by putting that operating system in that editor, and you know it.
It's Satan worship. Look at the link I just posted.
The problem with VI.
What's the problem?
It maps to a keyboard layout that was actually a physical keyboard in the late 1970s, and it made sense back then. But now nobody uses that keyboard anymore.
Yes, they do.
Nobody does. That terminal system went out of date in the early 80s. But yet, VI
Charles just built one.
Old key map, complicated and stupid, and also a dual mode editor when we've got gigabytes of memory. Okay, motherfucker.
Illustrious. Listen. All I'm saying is,
people will use what they want to use. It's fine if they want to use it.
Yeah, some people want to smoke pot and ski backwards. I mean,
Woo!
That sounds like a new story.
That Emacs nerve just said. All I'm saying is I love my HJKL for VI. And I use HJKL for everything. I don't care if I'm in Vim or VI because I know that key sequence will always work because it's of the old standard.
Charles put that shit on everything.
Heck yeah. I put it on my phone.
I like it spicy.
Yes. I don't need arrow keys. I don't need the arrow keys.
You know what they put on French fries in France? Mayonnaise. They bury them in that shit.
Yeah, I can confirm that, and that is also the rest of Europe.
Oh yeah, I did it on fries long before Europe did it. I mean, God.
Yeah,
long before I knew that Europe did it.
It's surprisingly good. It's weird.
Garlic mayo on fresh Belgian fries.
Oh, dude, stop.
Hey, so you guys ever do tartar sauce and fries?
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Tartar sauce fried chicken.
Come on, hey, have you ever done the? Okay, I know it's going to seriously be some dated shit. Remember Howard Johnson's?
Oh yeah.
Where you get the unlimited clam strips and French fries for like $5.
Yep.
And you just sit there and eat the fuck out of that shit all day long.
You know what Howard Johnson's reminded me of? It reminded me of a home.
Howard the Duck.
No. It reminded me. It reminded me of somebody from the Jetsons cartoon that lived there. The way it was shaped.
Oh yeah.
That could have been Elroy's house or something. I don't know. It just kind of reminded me that. Kind of reminded me of Emacs.
All right. Moving on now, as we've gone on a tangent for.
I just wanted to point out one thing. Charles is trying to insult all physicists globally right now. But make sure that's on the record.
Anyone who went to college in like the 90s.
Illustrious, I love you, brother.
Weird group of the week. Take it away.
All right. Our weird group of the week this time around is the Hoteps, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around. They're kind of they're mostly African American, as far as I can tell. Although I read in the FAQ that any race could join up. Although it seems to be focused on African Americans. So basically, listening to some of the YouTube streams like Uncle Hotep and also goes by Handy Mayhem. He has one name and one channel title, and the guy goes by Hotep Jesus. It seems basically just be black conservatives. Though I'm trying to find out. See, the problem when you do a search for Hotep, their own websites don't come up. It's like hit pieces by groups like the websites like The Root. I haven't listened to a whole lot to Hotep Jesus. There might be some Afrocentrism involved, since Hotep, if I remember, it means peace.
Peace and satisfaction. Peace or satisfaction. Sorry.
Yeah. So
their website.
They seem to be big on personal responsibility and traditional family values, which of course gets places like The Root all pissed off, because if you're into, they said something about venerating the black woman, or how I can't remember how they said it. Or the black woman is queen. They seem to have an attitude towards women that's similar to the Proud Boys, as in, love and respect them, but maybe not more traditional gender roles. It would seem that they have a whole bunch of them were Trump supporters. That's not necessarily the case. They do seem to have
saying like love and respect them, but don't give them the vote.
I don't think it even said that, but they would support probably a woman being a stay-at-home mom more that I can get from them than they would than working in a career path.
Interesting.
The ones I've listened to seem to be Trump supporters. They have a problem with leftist media, and also they seem to have a problem. I've learned this. I've learned that those racial terms that some races use are other people in their own race. Like we all know, if you're a conservative black guy, you get called the C word, or
wait, the what? The what word?
Short for raccoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, C word. Okay. The thing is, I don't believe in faggoty ass censorship like that. Pardon my German.
Well, I understand that.
I mean, if you understand, because I thought you meant cunt.
Mine.
I thought you meant cunt when you said C word.
Go get that.
I've heard conservatives being called cunts before.
Okay. What else? What's the other ones? Uncle Tom is another common one. But I found the Hoteps call liberal black people different slurs as well.
Have you ever heard Oreo?
I've heard of that, yes.
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you something that's kind of funny about that. Back in the 1970s, there was a kids' TV show called Vegetable Soup. And it was so Afrocentric, it wasn't even funny. It was meant to be like a hip, Afrocentric kids show where they taught kids, you can go to school and you can be this and you can be that. And even the animation was all Afrocentric. And they had a segment where they talked about slang language. And they literally got all deep into teaching kids where the origins of slang language. And then in the middle of this show that comes on Saturday afternoons, they start telling the kids what an Oreo is and why people would call each other an Oreo. And it was like, it was really bizarrely progressive for its time.
Seems like a weird thing. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The Hoteps will call more leftist black people Akatas and Shines. So it's kind of weird. And I'm not sure exactly how Afrocentric they are. I know I've heard some stuff from Hotep Jesus along the lines of saying that Africans taught Europeans how to bathe. And he also started saying something about, and he may have been joking with this, Superman needs to be black because Superman, like black people, get their power from melanin. So he's got a few of those. He might have been joking with that last one. I don't know.
Sorry, where did they?
That reminds me. Have you seen pictures of these guys? Because are they like 6 foot tall guys carrying quarterstaffs?
No, they look like fairly normal guys. There's a few hoteps.
Okay, no, because what you're saying is a lot identical to the quarterstaff preachers they used to have in New York City. They had these guys. They were all like 6 foot tall, and they would dress like I don't know how to explain it. And they would sit there with these quarterstaffs, and they'd be like, Superman should be black, and Hercules was actually a black man. Don't believe Disney and stuff like that. But they were down on the history of where things were stolen from them and co-opted.
That's more like the Black Hebrew Israelites. But let me get back to finishing this up. For the most part, they seem, looking at their page, they seem to be basically conservative, family traditionalist people. But there's a lot of hate stuff written about them. But that's about all I can really say about them. The ones I've listened to on YouTube just generally seem to be black conservatives.
Yeah, I'm just looking over their site here, and I don't see too much hate speech or anything like that. It just seems like more traditional types of values.
Did you say they were generating hate speech, or they get hate speech?
They get hate speech. They get hate.
That's what I thought you said.
If you Google Hotep, the first links that come up are going to be people bashing them. And there might be some crazy ones, too, because there's this one guy, I can't remember his name. I think he takes some kind of vegan food thing way too far, and he also says he's a Hotep. So there's probably a few people who use the particular title that have wildly different views, but it's hard to say. Like I said, it's hard to pin down. And as far as YouTube videos and so forth, the only two people that really seem to have a whole lot of Hotep material is Uncle Hotep and Hotep Jesus.
That vegan guy that you were talking about, that's not Vegan Gains, is it?
No, Vegan Gains is an entirely different crazy critter.
Okay.
He's nuts.
Have you ever heard of a guy called the Prophet Omega?
No.
I can't say I have.
This guy was a radio preacher, ancient 60s, 70s era. And nobody knew a damn thing about him until Adrian Blue came along. And he licensed one of his sermons and made it into a song. And his key things were it wasn't like he's this the stereotypical old school black preacher.
Mm-hmm.
The preacher man kind of stereotype where he's standing up there at the podium and he's banging his fists and he's yelling and you're gonna go to hell if you don't come to Jesus.
If you don't get your mind right and you don't get your life together, you gonna go to hell.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Preach it. It was kind of like a more mellow version of that.
That's what they do.
And the track is called "I Am What I Am." And it's just Adrian Blue shredding on guitar while this guy preaches. It's fucking awesome. You can share it with anybody, and it'll totally unfuck your shit.
Funny enough, I know who that is, and I have seen him live.
Nice.
He is a great guitarist, so definitely check that out.
Yeah, Caprico likes the banjo.
Oh, I found
it was also Adrian Blue is just for his solo shit is awesome, but then you gotta look at King Crimson and every major band he's been in.
Yeah. Oh, the one Hotep that had, some people call him a Hotep. I'm not sure if he calls himself that. Yada, Yada. Apparently, he has some weird food advice to give people.
Okay.
I don't quite follow.
My period. I still this. I still that. This is not none of this is right here is healthy food.
He's got a whole series of things of what food to buy from the grocery. Anyway.
Yeah, it seems pretty interesting. How to reverse cancer, and he's has a watermelon or something like that, and some other fruit. I mean.
But that's pretty much all I got on the Hoteps.
Nice. Cool.
Hey, they claim any relation to the movie Bubba Hotep?
I don't know.
Or Egyptian, any
Egyptian name connection. Oh, another thing about them, they seem to have.
I'm familiar with Baba Hotep, and I don't think there was much in there about that. That was something like the Hotep there was an Egyptian spirit.
Yeah, the Egyptian. That's what I think. They make any claims to like Egyptian lineage.
Yeah, I believe some of them do, but they're a little bit. It's a little bit nondescript on what exactly that connection is. Oh, another attitude they seem to have about things. They're big on self-reliance. The attitude seems to be white people never fixed any of our problems in the past, so why is Black Lives Matter, protesting white people to do things to fix things because they've never been able to do it in the past, and they're more like self-reliant and building their own communities. It seems.
Yeah.
Really, we are.
Hey, that's the hope and dream.
That's the idea. Whether they're doing it or not is
a different story.
Is a different story. Yeah. Probably
I
they
hope
are.
so, man. I hope so, but
sometimes I don't know.
Hey, and I look at it this way: in spite of white privilege, I will make it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Despite Santa Claus, I'm going to celebrate Christmas.
Hey, these are facts, my friend.
Hey,
we control our destiny.
Absolutely. Well, that's why the whole privilege movement is a myth.
Yeah.
I gave my parents a list of like 5 or 6 reasons whenever I was 3 years old as to why Santa Claus didn't exist.
Damn. It's impressive at the age of 3.
The thing is like some people are, you say it's a white privilege. It's actually an individual privilege. Like you say, I had a grandmother who sat there and told me stories. Well, you have a privilege that I didn't have because my grandmother was dead at the time I was 5.
Yeah.
Anybody can turn around and create privilege out of nothing. And a lot of times, the way I see it, any privilege argument whatsoever is nothing more than the kid on the playground with the everything-proof shield.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, you can't get through me because I have an everything-proof shield. And that's called privilege. And you have privilege, therefore you can't, you are bad and I am good and nothing can ever change that. And, you can shoot bullets and atom bombs and whatever, and the kid just stands there because of his everything-proof shield. It's like the last bastion of fighting for people who have exhausted anything rational.
Mm.
Or people say, well, you all have white privilege, and I'm like, look at that over there. Look at that. You see that guy in the trailer park fucking his sister while sucking on a meth pipe? You want to say that is white privilege?
Yep.
Woo!
No. No.
True.
Okay, privilege comes down to 3 things: power, money, and influence.
AP, I can't, man. You gotta stop it.
AP Dolce coming to you straight with the news on the Irongeek cast.
I am so glad that Charles wears headphones.
Yes, I have to.
It's power, money, and influence. If you don't have those 3 things, you're fucked. It doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, what you stick your dick in. It doesn't matter. Without those 3 things, you are done.
And on that note, I just got this to play.
Nice.
What is it? I can't hear it. What is it?
Nah.
The Wiggles.
Oh, fuck. Let me get you hooked up with VAC. Hey, let me get you hooked up with VAC so you can type your music into the chat.
Hey, AP, are you sure you don't like Hello Kitty? I mean, you also have your avatar is also a Hello Kitty on the front.
I'm down with Hello Kitty, okay?
All right. Yes, no, that's the news.
I made a Bass-Maru tone generator, okay? I'm a little fucking weird. I admit it.
Hey, listen, we're all weird on this cast.
I guess we go ahead and go into vulnerability of the week.
Okay.
All right. Vulnerability of the week. I got a real good one that was timely because it's a O-Day that was dropped yesterday.
Yes.
Oh.
This was a good one.
Somebody cue up the Gap Band.
All right. I'm gonna
you don't know you dropped the bomb on me? How can you not know that?
He's 14 years old. Calm down.
Turned 22. Anyway.
Download some music already.
Hey, you should be giving me props for knowing who the hell Adrian Belew is.
That is true. That is true.
And not only, okay, I'm going to go on a slight music tangent, and going and seeing him live with my dad.
Wow.
Wow.
That is pretty impressive. That's mad props right there.
Where he was headlining with Stickmen and his band that were playing all the songs on stage at the same time. So you had two bands on stage, and they were headlining for Dream Theater. All right.
Cool.
Ooh, Dream Theater.
This man dropped the mic on that note.
Boom. I know my music.
Boom, drop the bat. Boom, drop the gavel.
I'm not going to drop an actual mic because that would be
Because you see, people who know music know better than to drop the mic.
Because I've run sound, and dropped mics suck.
Yeah, that's why you have two mics.
No. Not always. Not when you're on a fixed budget.
Amen to that. I got a radio station here that I built from scratch, and man, I tell you, you got to do some insane shit.
Yeah, we'll talk more music stuff after the cast. Anyway, Peekaboo, Simone's favorite game. So Tenable spotlighted this vulnerability that can manipulate surveillance footage. So what the hell is this thing? So, you know, in like movies where you have people that will they'll hack into a computer or a closed circuit camera TV system for security things. Well, that's getting closer and closer to a reality with this. So Tenable released with proof of concept, which I have linked in the show notes. There's a GitHub link to that as well. That new NUO or NUO has something called the NVRM Mini 2. And what that basically is a network accessible NAS for security cameras. Now, what you can do is you can hook up, and I believe I have a diagram here. What you can do is the NVR Mini 2, you can hook it up to your network, and then it will have your video encoder and all this other stuff that you can hook up to it as well, or an IP camera, point of sale, blah, 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 blah. It basically manages all of this. The exploit is a Stack Overflow vulnerability to bypass the authentication on the software itself that is running on the NVR Mini 2, so that NAS. So with that, you are given root permissions. And with the proof of concept from Tenable, there is a script where you can cut sections of video files that are present on that machine. Or you can or you already have root access, you could just download all those files. You can even watch those security cameras as well. So as I was interested in this, and also from a suggestion from a friend while I was looking at this last night, he said, wonder if any of them are on Shodan. And from John Matherly himself, who is the creator, and I just lost it, creator of Shodan, he gave me this link. Now, there was one thing that I noticed a lot of while I was in Europe a few months ago. There are a ton of security cameras all over the place. Yeah. So I was like, there's probably one there. And I found one from KPN themselves, which is their which is their largest cellular provider. And I'm losing my geography real quick here. And this, I remember seeing this while I was in Amsterdam. This is their store, which is open to the network. And this is what you would exploit against for that.
Nice.
Admin.
No, I am not. This is as far as I can go legally.
Legally, yes.
Legally, yes. And they're all over. There's more of them added. There's more of them now. There wasn't one in Hilversum before. Someone pinged more of them. I was curious if there were some where I was in Arnhem, which I am losing my geography of the Netherlands now. There it is. But there's one that's off to the side. But there are cameras like all around this area. None of them running this software. So check that out. I definitely would check out the proof of concept. It's in Python, so easy to read or easy to pick up Python, I guess.
Yes.
So they've got Tenable's got that up on their GitHub as well, with the enabled telnet, so you get a shell back, I guess, and then you can also cut up different data as well.
Okay, just to verify, this is Nuo only, right?
Right.
Number one.
Yep.
Number two, this specific exploit is for the recorded data.
Right.
So it's not manipulating live, but and that's what I was going to get to once you confirmed. Once you have root on there, you're still going to have direct access, most likely, to all those other to the live video cameras.
Right.
Which means if you get through to the capture data, you can probably make it to the live. And then if you can bypass the live, you can actually potentially maneuver to the live video feeds and influence those.
Yeah, and a few years, I think it was like
or you may not even have to do that. You could just freaking DOS from the NAS out to the...
Right. You could essentially, and I think this is more than just a NAS. I think this is also part of the management platform as well, as shown by this this diagram from Tenable. And I think they've been sitting on this for a while. And released it because they had a lot of documentation on it. They had this is actually on their site is like this animated picture, which I was like, they didn't just find this yesterday and dropped it. They've been sitting on this for a while.
Yeah, because usually the CCTV system will have a controller. Is this actually working as the controller for the system?
Yeah, that's what this is going. That's what this is doing.
Okay. You'd have full access to live video then too.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's what they're saying, and this is why this is a big deal: is that you can see full live recording. You can edit those recordings once they're stored onto this device and all this other stuff. At the current point right now, the versions are listed that this is tested and proven against on their GitHub. At the point that it's at right now, those are the most recent versions that are publicly available, and there is not a patch currently for it as of today.
Nice. When did they inform the company? I'm assuming probably a month or two ago. Tenable's really... Tenable was the one who found it, right?
Tenable is the one who found it. So I'm assuming
they're usually pretty good about informing and doing the proper procedures.
Yeah. So Tenable, I'm assuming, has contacted NUUO.
Yeah.
It is not confirmed, however, because NUUO, I think, has different models of the NVR Mini.
Did you look up where they're located out of?
I do not, but they're international, as we saw from the map. So they've got vending all over the place.
Oh, it's got a Linux base. You can just go and do whatever the hell you want then.
Yeah, it's basically just a Linux box that's running a NAS and management program.
Yeah.
This was funny because there is a follow-up talk that I'll link in the show notes and further reading.
They're China.
No.
Yes.
Oh, they're Chinese.
Yeah, they're Chinese.
I thought you were talking about what I was saying. Sorry. No. There's a talk from Black Hat 2014, I believe, where a security researcher did actual scrubbing on the camera and image replacement. So, in the movies where you have people will put up like a fake image or like a blank image onto the screen, and then people will be like Ocean's 11. They do that in the elevator scene or whatever.
Here, I'm gonna throw something over in side chat. In 1 minute here, once I find it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So the last thing I was gonna say. So this being hackable leads or this exploit being out in the open now could lead to more of using that as a platform to then pivot to messing with these cameras.
Yeah, the pivoting is definitely like that's the regular kind of what we expect. Once I find this Git, did you check out the Git that I posted in our chat today?
In
Twitter.
regulars or
yeah, in regulars.
I did not. I will look at it real. I will look for it real quick.
That Git is a NVIDIA Git, and what they are doing is they are taking existing video, learning off the video, and then you can manipulate and say there's buildings lining the street. You can change those buildings to trees, and it looks fairly realistic. And take a picture of, say, Donald Trump or whoever you want talking, and now superimpose Donald Trump onto my face, and now I'm Donald Trump and I'm saying all these things.
So you could essentially with
this
and whilst getting access to those cameras,
integrate the two together.
In theory, you could pull. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, in real time, be able to manipulate the video stream with whatever in the hell you wanted. Yeah.
There is a show on Netflix. It's called Altered Carbon, and one of the characters in that show is called the Shadow Man. Now, context: everyone has in the society that is this like cyberpunk society has a camera that's placed into their eye, or it's like their full. It's like an iPhone that's just like a contact that sits on your eye. It's actually kind of cool. But when a police officer was recording, she was at like this high stakes party or something like that. This guy that she saw looked suspicious, and the guy that was monitoring her video feed said, "I don't see anything." So you could literally do the same kind of attack, or something similar to what Owie has with the
VR.
With the VR attack, where you can like replace people's face with like Laughing Man attack from Ghost in the Shell as well.
But to bring that up, yeah, it's like that. Where
That's what I was
hacking people's eyes and erasing them.
Yeah.
For context, let me see a good spot to plop this real quick. So for context, we're talking about this guy. So like you can zoom in real well. So notice how you have like trees and stuff here. And then we have the original output of that file. So this is what was actually recorded. And then you do say buildings to trees. So we change those buildings, copying whatever data was there, and it turns that into trees, or you just remove trees altogether.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts? I mean, and it was kind of cool looking through it, because a lot of the algorithms, they go frame by frame. And just go straight frame by frame. And what this one they're now doing, they're going frame, and then whatever the output of their new frame is, they feed that back into the next frame that's going to be coming up, and then kind of mix the two together with whatever rules you included in then. So if it's trees, or buildings in this case, the trees in the next frame are going to be replaced with buildings, but it's building off the previous good frame, previous good new frame to this next frame. And so they're getting it to where it's not choppy, and it's flowing, and it's progressive, and it looks incredibly realistic.
Yeah, so that's a definite. That's cool. Oh my gosh,
that's gonna be abused.
I'm living in a freaking room, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Matrix is here.
There's lasers in like growing up. Like I would watch like what was called shoot. It was something weapons. It was the show on the military channel.
It was Beavis and Butthead.
No.
That was before your time. Sorry.
That was before my time. I got called Beavis and Butthead, or my brother and I got called Beavis and Butthead.
Future weapons, I think.
Because we look like those guys.
Maybe future weapons.
Hmm?
Was it future weapons?
Future weapons. Yes, that guy. And he was, and there was
yeah, I did like that show.
It was like lasers and stuff, and I was like, I'm living in the future. And then I get to stuff like this, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm living in the future.
Oh, by the way, look up deep fake sometime, but not at work.
What is
deep fakes?
Deep fakes. Basically, people have been using technology similar to this to fake porn of people.
Nice.
Definitely go and watch the Altered Carbon series, because what we're describing actually is done a lot in that show. Like this whole I'll find it and post it in further readings. But there's a scene where they actually do this, where they actually place one of the characters at this other in footage. In security footage.
Hang on a second. You're getting dangerously close to a spoiler.
I know. Different characters. They're putting him in a different spot. But it's still, and they're using stuff like what we're describing, and it's insane.
Nice.
How close this is getting.
Okay, real quick, a little off topic. Since we talked about Altered Carbon, is anybody watch Jack Ryan?
No.
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, crap. I loved it.
Yeah, I did.
Man, I thought it was freaking awesome.
I'll have to watch it.
Have you read all the Jack Ryan shit?
Oh hell no, I don't read.
I've been following the Jack Ryan stuff since inception, and I got to tell you, this is an interesting way of interpreting it.
Well, I interpret it via a television.
I mean, it deviates a lot from all the other stuff that he's done.
Well, yeah.
And it does take some liberties, like the helicopter crash that fucked up his back.
Yeah.
In all the other books, they don't go into detail in saying what happened. He just had an accident, and then in the Jack Ryan show, you find out that he insisted on saving his kid in Guadalajara, and the kid like, hey, look, I've got a grenade, boom, and
yeah. I thought it was good.
What's your take on Admiral Greer being a Muslim?
Not all that much. I mean,
it felt a little forced.
Somewhat to be expected within the government. I think they are probably trying to tone something home in the future.
But I mean, have you seen like Patriot Games or Hunt for Red October or any of that stuff?
Oh yeah.
So they never mentioned that in the other books or anything. It seemed to me like they were trying to do a little something in there by making that happen.
Yeah, they're trying to be very poignant about it. I mean, because it's mentioned consistently. So, yeah, I don't know why they're mentioning it so consistently, but I think there's going to be a reason in an upcoming season.
I'm thinking maybe it's that they're trying to be relevant. They're trying to make it more up to date,
or maybe. Yeah, and that could be try to appeal to, hey, guess what? Like, yeah. So the storyline obviously is in the Middle East, and try to kind of maybe balance it out a little bit. So we're showing everybody over here in a negative light, or at least these individuals, and try to counterbalance it with the director or whatever his name is.
Token Muslim.
Yeah, could be.
Well, the thing is that. If you've seen the movies, you see Admiral Greer, and he's just a career, red, white, and blue patriotic American, served in this war, served in that war, works in the CIA. In the Jack Ryan series, he's sitting there clutching his Muslim prayer beads and telling everybody to fuck off.
Yes.
It's a bit of a departure for the character, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, but you always get that whenever you go from a movie to a series, though, too. So for me, that wasn't that big of a leap. Them consistently stating it over and over, that's what makes me wonder. Because they could have stated it in the first or second episode one time, I would have known, and that could have been it. But they've made it a point of it.
There's a great scene. I mean, have you watched the whole first season?
Yes.
That scene in the car when he's with the French guy, and the French guy is just going off about Muslims, And, fuck this and fuck that and all of that. And he's like, "What's that you got in your hand?" And these are my prayer beads. So when I'm stressed out and somebody's pissing me off, I can pray to Allah not to kick their ass. And the guy just shuts the fuck up right there.
Yep.
I think maybe they're trying to do the hidden tolerance lesson thing in there. You know what I mean?
Could be. Okay.
Next up, we've got Linux COC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anybody seen this? Linux COC. You said?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you saw this news. It looks like Linus is bowed out for a bit to work on his behavior because apparently he's pissed people off because he's rude. But most of the stuff that seems rude, but not necessarily that bad. And he's adopted the creator covenant that's made by this lady who's got kind of nuts and wants to kind of seems authoritarian, sticks the nose in everything. And Carolyn Ada? And they were one of the people that wrote that post-meritocracy website that we mentioned before. I don't know if any of y'all seen anything about this.
I saw some about him going off on a sabbatical. I hadn't seen anything yet on the code of conduct. Did this have anything to do with the master-slave stuff I've been seeing going around lately?
Who knows?
No, that's just retard. That's just retardation.
Okay. I didn't know if this was associated or not.
Well, I mean, that's just typical SJW retardation that's taking over the whole world. And hopefully someone's finally standing up and telling him to shut the fuck up over that.
Yeah.
I think it was Linus posted something on Twitter just saying that he was just taking a step back from a while to try and become more empathetic because he's noticing that people are. I thought it was just a personal thing. Like,
how empathetic do you need to be? I mean, the thing is that he has people attacking him on a daily basis. So he drops a few F-bombs, and then they're like, "Oh, you need to be more empathetic." It's like living in California, right? You live in California, people will bash the living shit out of you. But if you fight back, all of a sudden you're this big demon hating everything, ism, whatever the hell. It's like, no, you attacked me, I attacked back. It's like, I'm going to punch you in the face. Hey, how come you hit me? Because you punched me in the face. Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that. You know, that kind of California mentality.
Right. But, yeah, I didn't think of anything else of it other than this was his personal thing saying, hey, I'm going to try and work on my public image. Because I mean, I love the guy's stuff. Like, when he goes on rants, it's freaking great. But some people will get turned off by that, or will take offense.
Well, fuck them.
But
let's rock. Get it
that's fine. They have a right. They have the right to be like that. I don't care if they're offended or not. If you don't want to listen to it, like the dude did.
My son, even it's not happening on list. These people want to police what people do, like on Twitter or unrelated to the project.
Right.
And I'll say shit like, well, being a good coder doesn't make up for having lack of empathy. Being a good enough coder, yeah, it does. Fuck empathy. Empathy's stupid.
Yep.
It can be. Let's put it this way. Some people take empathy too far and above, sanity.
The whole problem is we made it profitable to be offended.
Yes.
The minute we made it profitable to be offended, we fucked ourselves. We were fucked from that moment forward because once you make something profitable, they're going to do it. You can make money doing it. Oh my God, you offended me by using the G word. Now I want $1 million. It's like, that's the bullshit we're dealing with. Being offended and lack of empathy and all this shit wouldn't mean anything until people started losing their jobs.
Yep.
Companies started tanking. Elon Musk puffs the joint and his stock drops 2%. What the fuck is that about?
Yeah, but I'm sure that bounced back.
I mean, meanwhile, we got a president who spends $200,000 on golf and nobody blinks an eye. Yeah. Man puffs a blunt and his stock goes in the toilet. I mean, what the hell?
While in a legal state, or in a state where that's illegal to be fine. But at the same time, just like that argument is always like, oh my gosh, it's because he did this. Wouldn't that be because more people are like, like my knowledge of economics is not good enough for me to actually make a good and the stock market. I'm not like the great resource of that. But my question would be, wouldn't just supply and demand come in there? So then a bunch of people like went and bought their stock because, oh, Elon's cool. He smokes weed. I'm going to go buy his stock. Price drops. Because could that have also been a thing?
Well, when people buy a shitload of stock, usually the price goes up. It's when people sell it off is when the price goes down.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if I'm selling hand jobs for $5, and all of a sudden, you know, people are lining up around the block and it's getting hard to service everybody, I can raise the price to $10, make more money, and cut the line down.
Oh, looks like Live Beef actually just tweeted about this. I'll put the link down in the chat.
What was it? I think there was a tweet or something like that that was in the IG general chat about some like really like feminist female that was saying, oh, now we're going to get these men out of it and stuff like that, and they're trying to like completely change the agenda of the of Linux and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's when you start saying shut the fuck up.
Yep. I don't know if anybody. I don't know if that was. I saw that in the Irongeek Twitter.
You have to get rid of all the ASCII art because it's offensive.
Yep.
But yeah, someone got pissed at. Was it RMS or was it another guy? No, there was someone else. Stallman, I think, that got pissed on because there was like an abortion joke in some code someplace.
Yeah, in a comment or something like that, right?
Okay. Like, I don't get why. We're still talking. Sorry, I had to walk away for a minute. We're still talking about code of conduct for Linux, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Why doesn't it take it through a scrub? Like, scrub out whatever phrases or words you don't like and be done with it.
Why are we allowing people to come in with demanding a code of conduct, and why are we empowering these people?
Because people are pussies. Right?
No, that's no excuse for empowering them.
I told someone to don't apologize to someone. Someone said to me on Twitter, what was it? This is a great example of people being hostile. Having a total lack of empathy is a terrible, terrible trait. Fuck you, having empathy. The thing I'm supposed to have empathy for is someone whining about blacklist versus whitelist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It has nothing to do with
I've heard this same shit too, and I have a stock reply to that. Okay, I sit there and I'm talking about how we're going to deploy a blacklist versus a whitelist and do change control. Can you change those terms? You're done. Out. Door. Now. Goodbye. Send in your replacement. We are not going to waste our time as a defense business whining about the fact that we're using the terms blacklist and whitelist. We know what they mean. There's no racial intention in there. If you want to insert it in there so that you can get a payday, you can go do that somewhere else. You're fucking fired. Have a nice day.
Like, here's a tweet that I just had back from somebody because I suggested to Amanda Arnold for her upcoming mental illness thing. It's like, you're going to have anything about how to deal with people who are insane but don't seek help? And this guy's like, oh, it's more likely that other people are going to judge them unfairly because they don't understand about insanity. No, I've seen some crazy-ass people that I don't think I'd ever want to work with.
I'm fucking insane, and you know what? I've never had anybody say anything bad. You know, no one said anything bad about working with me. They don't fucking dare say a goddamn thing. No.
And if you say anything,
I come from a different era. Okay, I really do. I came up working on trading floors under guys that would put their foot in your ass if you screwed something up. Yeah. So you learn not to fuck up. I mean, I had the guy who mentored me through my first 5 years in New York was basically Lee fucking Emery. Okay, it's like, look, scumbag, you don't put the fucking sound card in there, you're gonna fuck up the IRQ. Get the fuck off my trading floor. And then you go back to the bench and you learn how to do it the right way. You go back to the trading floor, you do it right. It's like, all right, scumbag, now get your head on straight. Fuck. What did I do? Buy a bag of retards today on the way? Come on. And, you learned your shit and you got your shit done. Now it's like, you can't do it that way. But the book says I can. Fuck your book. Eat your book. Shove your book in your ass. You're working on my floor. You do it my way because it works. I feel terrified now, and I may bang bang in my Pampers. It's like the safe space is over there, asshole.
Yeah.
You want to go work at motherfucking Best Buy? You want to work at Geek Squad and rip people off to swap out a hard drive? Amen. God bless. But when you're in my goddamn sock, you're not bringing any of that shit on.
No.
You're not bringing that shit on. You're not saying,
people,
I can't use the term mass incarceration.
I put people because some shit I say on Twitter saying they feel unsafe. Unsafe from what?
Unsafe.
I'm gonna assault you.
Unsafe. You want unsafe.
What a buzzword.
When the motherfucking IG comes in and says, don't do this, and you're looking at a guy with a badge and a gun who's a Fed who says, don't do this shit on your network, and you go, but my CISSP book says I can. Unsafe? This guy will lock you up in a room and throw away the room. Shut the fuck up, polish his shoes, and get back to work.
Yep.
I wonder, this is maybe a little conspiracy or whatever. I wonder if, because I think that Microsoft is very involved in like Linux and stuff like that now. I wonder if they put some pressure on Linus to like release that message that he's going to be more polite and kind and whatever.
Something like that was actually, Lightbeat didn't say all that. But you should tweet something from Carolyn Ada, I don't know how to say the name. 40,000 open source projects, including Linux, Rails, Golang, and every OSS produced by Google, Microsoft, and Apple have adopted my code of conduct. You can make me have a bad day, but it doesn't change the fact that that we have won and you have lost. But I also check out Adam Morgan's video on it. And this person, she got kicked and fired from GitHub because she was such a toxic person to have to work around.
Wow.
The thing is, you can't keep empowering these people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a code of conduct. Okay. Why are we saying okay to this bullshit? And I raised some serious hell in some situations about this. Not because, we should have a code of conduct. Okay, we can have a code of conduct, but let's make it rational. No, it has to be like this, and it has to be this way. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Individual motherfucker to come in here and tell me I have to change and do the things that you feel comfortable with, making everybody else uncomfortable. Otherwise, you're going to run having a crying fit and we all lose our jobs. Now,
appealing to the 5 and not the 95.
I will tell you one thing that got me into a world of shit, absolute world of shit, was there was a particular event that I was working on, and an SJW came in and demanded that we have rape counselors.
What?
Wow.
Okay, and they said, we need to have abuse and rape counselors for women at this thing. And I said, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? I will get in, and I did this, I will get the Red Cross grief counselors to come in here. And these motherfuckers, they can counsel on anything.
Yeah.
You lose your house, you pull your dead dog out of a swamp, whatever. These motherfuckers know their shit. They'll take you down, and you'll be okay. And I'm like, let's do that. Let's have general counseling available if something goes wrong. Well, we don't need that. We just need rape counseling. I'm like, excuse the fuck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get off telling us that our event doesn't need any other kind of counseling whatsoever except for people who get raped? What does that say about our event?
There's some people who make money off this shit too, though. There's a couple groups like there's that one person.
Everybody makes money off of it.
Well, not everybody.
They get their click-throughs. They get their blogs. They get picked up for book deals.
Somebody called Sage Sharp, they actually put a good idea for a hashtag was cock smells. COC smells. And then there's people like, what is her name? Abdelia, who seems to have founded a company around training people about to be better allies. And I'm like, being better allies to some people. This is the same woman who once tweeted something along the lines of, the reason they, or things like Overhood, the reason they renamed Garbage Man to sanitation worker is Garbage Man is a tautology. I showed this to a feminist male friend of mine, and which I have very few of, and he said something like, well, it's a joke about logic, isn't it? Or philosophy. I'm like, no, it's clearly a hate-filled joke towards men.
You know, the funny thing is, the majority of these SJWs that you see out there pushing the COCs and pushing the changes, they're mostly women. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, they don't want
that, and that is, there's a lot of male allies, men who are so thirsty and
now, there's a difference.
They will go along with anything they say. That's the problem.
They'll go along with anything they say so they keep their jobs and don't get called out.
Well, also because some of them just want to get positive female attention. There's so many male developers, especially.
Yeah.
You want
now,
female attention.
Here's the thing, though. These are the people that sit there and they say, you can't make blonde jokes. You can't catcall. You can't make a comment on a woman's body. Okay, fine.
That okay sign is.
And they walk out the door. They walk out the door, and the first thing that happens is they see a pickup truck. And they go, oh, wow, big-ass pickup truck. Must have a small penis.
Yeah.
And you stop, and you're like, whoa. Hey, I'll stop on the Hypocrite Express here.
Yeah, there's one nut out there. She tweeted out something like, the strongest compliment I could ever give a straight man is the shame you're not more gay. And some dumbass married her.
Wow.
All right. What's the next topic? Unless anybody has anything like this.
All right. Alternative influence broadcasting the reactionary right on YouTube. So I saw this a while ago, but I wasn't the one that put it in the show notes.
Yeah, let me share my screen. This thing's some nutty shit.
Like hazelnut.
All right, I'm sharing my entire screen.
Hazelnut.
Basically, they took a bunch of people they don't like and connected them, even though they're not anything alt-right or whatever. If you actually look, there was a guy who, let me open up the other show notes. This guy, I don't know much about Nick Monroe, but he actually goes through the woman's timeline who wrote it. She's obviously clearly kind of hate-filled towards anybody that doesn't have a political ideology. And basically, what they're trying to tie is alt-right stuff to people who aren't anywhere near alt-right. They'll just talk to people who are on the alt-right. They tie in Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin's kind of this leftist, Jewish gay dude who's a commentator. He's pretty far from alt-right. Ben Shapiro, well, again, Jewish conservative commentator. So he's definitely to the right of Dave Rubin. Sargon of Akkad. He's defines himself as left, but that seems to be going more right. But because some of these people have talked to Richard Spencer or the like, or because they express views that are counter to feminism or social justice as it's become, because modern social justice, and largely, isn't actually real social justice. It's about blaming other people for all your problems and taking no personal responsibility while virtue signaling. Those people who tied in here, like, I don't know, but Monday Bat's in here. That guy T, he's basically a black libertarian. James Alsop, he has some legitimately racial views, so I can see him perhaps being in this list. But most of the people on this list have nothing to do. Pure logic. She's a black female commentator. Why she's in this list, I have no idea. The entire list seems to be constructed nothing to slander these people, and it looks like to get them deplatformed because some of the stuff in there. See, one of the things she's complaining about is how, if you click on like a Dave Rubin video, it might take you to a Sargon of Akkad video. And a Sargon of Akkad video, you may show his interview he had with Millennial Rose, like a year or two ago. And so, yeah, YouTube is doing connections based on, you're interested in this? Well, this person also featured here. So fucking what? All you're proving is these people are willing to talk to others.
Yeah, and Shapiro especially has gone on record saying two people who are against him are politically, hey, let's talk. Like, let's do that. And they just lose their collective shit over it. It's funny. They're like, and he was like, I will even pay for you to travel down here so that we can talk. And it's like, what the? And then they just lose their shit.
Joe Rogan's on this list too, someplace I think.
I saw that as well, and I'm trying to find it. So, and I was like, dude, Joe Rogan is like the most like neutral platform that you can have. Yeah, he's right above Dave Rubin. And I was like, it's like that guy, he has people on there that are just like, what? I'm surprised one name isn't on here though, and that's Jordan Peterson.
Because I thought he was on there. Yeah,
pretty sure he's mentioned in the article.
I thought I saw him in that web. Oh, sorry.
Platform bans work time again time and again, the data shows deplatforming works. Basically, she's a fascist. Let's call it like it is. I mean, and then she's got tweets like this. What is it? I'm gonna zoom in enough. Walski has some problems. I'll get into maybe that. Saying things like, it's concerning but not at all surprising. Our societal cult of personality around men like Elon is fundamentally libertarian, conservative, patriarchal, and racialized. In many ways, Elon fulfills some of the same fantasies as Jordan Peterson. Also, somewhere he's giving shit to basically, I think the problem with a lot of these people is they're just anti-feminists. A lot of the people she linked to, and they does have a problem with modern day feminism.
Angry feminists.
There's a problem with angry feminists. Yeah, I think everyone has a problem with that.
Why are we talking about the fact that Elon smoked weed and not the fact that he appeared on Joe Rogan, the man who gives a mainstream platform to Jordan Peterson, anti-feminist Sargon of Akkad, Google bro James Damore, and Proud Boys founder Gavin Innes, among others? So obviously, a person who doesn't understand what the fuck James Damore actually wrote.
Seriously,
she probably didn't even watch any of those. That's the thing. She probably didn't watch a single thing, or listen to it because he's multi-platform too. So it's like, what the?
But yeah, but those people retweeting it. If you look at the people who are retweeting the article. A lot of it is like people from who are verified checkmark journalists and such. And if you look at who actually paid for the group that produced the article, those people on there, and get all conspiratorial theory on you. One of them is a charity that George Soros funds, and a bunch of them are like news outlets. So really, it seems that what we want to do is, some old media is not doing as well financially as it once was, and I think they want to eliminate the competition.
Interesting.
Life finds a way. Anyway, that's the same. Like we were talking about this before with back with when it was like the 3D printed guns got like they weren't.
Cody Wilson with Defense Distributed.
Yeah. Defense Distributed got there was legislation passed saying that you couldn't publicly, or they couldn't host it publicly, and then everyone was just like, "Nope, here it is." Like everyone who had a download just started hosting it everywhere.
Yeah, I loved telling people during that time period when they said, "Oh, we stopped this," and I'm like, "I just downloaded it today just to see if I could."
Yeah, I've got, and it's a specific name for that effect.
The Streisand effect.
Streisand effect. So I was like, this is just going to Streisand effect. It's like, oh, this rage-induced social justice warrior doesn't like all of these people. I'm going to look at these people now. So by making this, you essentially just give people a platform and also publicize them to then go and reach out to these people.
And then when people go and watch these YouTube videos, they start realizing that Ben Shapiro is not a white supremacist. And Jordan Peterson, well, okay, I mean, I guess I could have some problems with some of his psychological theories, but,
his psychological theories, yes, but some of the social stuff, most of them are okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like I could criticize the content, but I don't think he's some threat to Western civilization itself.
No, he's not driving people to the alt-right. He's promoting individualism. Anyway, AP, go ahead.
Thank you. That's the key thing, is individualism. Because the thing that is going to tear apart our social structure is the my way or else mentality that a lot of these SJWs are throwing out there.
Yep.
And the thing is that we could stop it by just simply not empowering them anymore. Give them a platform. Let them talk. Let them run around with their dicks on fire saying, oh my God, the end of the world is coming. Fine. But don't empower that. Don't bend over to it. Don't start firing your people because somebody told a joke. If a guy's sitting at a bar, so these two blondes walk into a TV store, right? And the next thing you know, he's on unemployment. That's not right. Okay. Maybe it's not a good thing socially. Maybe it's putting down a group of people. Okay. Is it so bad that you have to take away their livelihood and leave them destitute?
Yep.
I mean, what is exactly worth that? Okay, yes. If you're the guy who said, take the O-rings out of the space shuttle, we don't need them, and the thing blows up, fuck yes, you lost your job.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you're sitting around and you say two guys walk into a bar, that's no reason to lose your job.
Yep, agreed.
We empower these people too much by letting them tell us what to do. And we want to be good little allies, and then they change what an ally means from person to person. One person says an ally means that you have to shut up and never give your opinion because you're a man, therefore your opinion is meaningless. And that people actually will say that shit. And they'll go, oh, okay, well, I guess I don't have any opinion on this. You know, and the next thing you know, you're out of a job.
What is that? It's like I think you guys talked about that last week or something like that. It's like a Kafka trap or something.
Well, Kafka trap's a little different. Kafka trap is when you deny something and they twist that around to make it seem like you are more than that. So it's like, you're a Nazi. Hey, I am not a Nazi. I don't agree with mass murder. Oh, you don't agree with mass murder, but you're okay with mass incarceration, which means you're still a Nazi.
Okay.
You know, there's different types of Kafka traps. But if you've ever read The Trial, you'll understand. You'll see it's right there, plain as day. It is wide open, plain as day. This is what these people are doing, and they're getting away with it. And then one really great quote, and I will find this, came from William Burroughs that describes exactly what's going on right now. I'll go ahead and do your. I'll dig it up in a second.
Sounds good.
I'm just waiting for people to realize, hey, it's all individuals that make you look at any of these high-class individuals or high-class people that are on this list that are going against like this group mentality. They're all promoting this one singular thing. Go do what you want to do. Go make it happen. You have an idea. Go make it happen. You are the only one that will do that. And don't get into these freaking groups, man. The best people that I've seen, and this is just based off college, the best people that I've seen and have worked with from my college experience and limited development experience were the ones that sat down, learned it themselves, and also didn't expect anyone else to help them out with it. And if they did, they were thankful, and then they learned more on their own. It's the same thing that you have to just makes me angry when I see other, and this was a big thing in college when I was still down there. Thankfully, I'm not, especially after Europe. I would have just probably punched someone, and that would have been bad. The thing was, it was interesting when I went to Europe because that's their mindset. If you want to go and do something, you're the one who has to put in the work. It's not like this full group effort to do this. You're the one who has to put in the work for this to happen. And this was something on like a group project where I had to manage and build a video game in 8 weeks, a playable video game. Each person had an individual task that was assigned to them to actually make this happen, to make the game happen. If you want something to change or if you want something done, you yourself as an individual have to do it. And complaining about, and you can expound upon that to social rights or civil rights or whatever. If you want something to happen, you want more people helping people in a certain area, you want this certain idea to happen, you want to have this happen, go do it yourself. Tired of it.
I found the quote. This is beautiful, and he wrote this centuries ago, but it's so great. We have a new type of rule now, not one-man rule or rule of aristocracy or plutocracy, but of small groups elevated to positions of absolute power by random pressures and subject to the political and economic factors that leave little room for decision. They are representatives of abstract forces who've reached power through the surrender of self. The iron-willed dictator is a thing of the past. There will be no more Stalins. There will be no more Hitlers. The rulers of this most insecure of all worlds are rulers by accident, inept, frightened pilots at the controls of a vast machine they cannot comprehend, calling in experts to tell them what buttons to push.
Wow.
And that is probably the best description I've ever found of what's happening right now.
Good quote. All right. Anyone else got something on the broadcasting study or reactionary right on YouTube study?
Not specifically, but we spoke briefly about crap. The guy in Texas Defense. What's his name?
Cody Wilson.
Cody Wilson.
Cody Wilson. I do want to circle back to that if we don't talk about him now.
And apparently, there's been a new development. I just read about it. Apparently, he's not even in the country. He's in Thailand, or not Thailand. Excuse me, Taipei.
Awesome.
Oh, so that's why.
Wanted for some kind of minor.
So what happened with him was he was on a website, like Sugar Daddy Meet, basically for women who want a sugar daddy meet. It's kind of a dating site like that. He met a woman on there. They chatted for a bit. He picked her up, went to a hotel room. They had sex, and he gave her some money. Turns out she was 17.
Yes.
So that's they're pursuing that now for indecency with a minor kind of thing, and potentially even prostitution. So.
Oh, good. Okay, so good. That was kind of my question. I know they were pursuing him, but are they actually pursuing her from a prostitution perspective?
Probably not. They probably just get a slap on the wrist.
I mean, because think about it. She is on a site that is supposed to be "quote unquote" 18 plus.
Yes.
I don't know if they validate driver's license or she could make a
or at all.
ID.
Let's look.
But well, there goes Cappy. He's like, yeah, I'm a sugar daddy.
Saving up
No. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna see.
I got something here.
Cappy's gonna. No, I'm just kidding.
Sent in Texas is 17.
Wow.
This happened back
Oh, really? I
in
did
August.
not know that.
The event happened back in August, and they just got the arrest affidavit like today.
But what I'm saying is
But consent is 17 in Texas?
Yeah, age of consent in Texas is 17, according to the web search I just did on their laws.
Double check, because that may be only 17 if the other partner is like 19 or 20. He's 30.
No.
I didn't know there was a sliding age of consent rule there.
Some states do have that, actually.
But
West Virginia is like 14.
West Virginia is like, are you related to each other? Okay, then there's no age limit.
All right, guys.
Statutory rape law is violated when a person has consensual sexual intercourse with an individual under the age of 17. While there is no close-in age exemption, defenses exist when the offender was no more than 3 years older than the victim of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
But 17 is the limit, and if she's 17, I don't understand what they're going on about here.
Actually, hold on. Let me pull the article up.
Language there too, and they say the victim. It's like he didn't put a knife up her ass and say spread.
This was definitely not rape. I mean, she took the money. It wasn't.
And it wasn't an afterthought. It wasn't, okay, if you give me money, I won't say anything. It's like, let's fuck. I want money. Here's the money. Okay, let's fuck.
Well, no, they'll go for him for prostitution because he solicited prostitution.
Yeah,
I mean the prostitution.
They could try that.
Yeah, but
that's
next to marijuana, legalizing prostitution is going to be the next big profitable thing.
Should be legal.
The sooner we legalize prostitution, the sooner we're going to have a lot less problems.
Greg was on the ball with that. He's like, should be.
Greg is so pissed. I can't believe it's not legal.
I am pissed.
No, I mean, getting a charge of prostitution is thick. It's going to be really impossible unless basically she had him saying, I'm going to pay you for sex, because that's almost impossible to prove.
Yeah, I mean, they were on a sugar daddy site. What is a sugar daddy?
Exactly.
Sugar daddy is somebody who gives money to a younger woman. Like,
you don't see lawsuits like this on the cougar sites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
40-year-old woman gets down with a 17-year-old kid. Nobody starts throwing lawsuits.
Well,
they throw a cougar.
I don't know. Well, I know EJ Ginger had some problems there, but one thing that gets me about this, when anybody tweets about the story, you have a bunch of anti-gunners commenting like really rude and crude things afterwards. Like someone was saying something like, homosexuals are likely the intersection of homosexuals and I don't know, was it pedophiles? Is probably close to a circle. I'm like,
that's like the idiot who stands on the corner and says, homosexuals are just so gay. It's like, no shit, Sherlock, really? But I mean, it's like you sit there and go, well, homosexuals are like pedophiles. How does that work out? Yeah. In what planet of logic does that make any sense? That's like saying bank robbers are like rapists. No, they're not. It's like you cannot. We've got to get over ourselves. We got to stop jerking off to the Bible every night and just get down with the fact that there are homosexuals, there are lesbians, there are gays, there are bi, tri, quad sexuals, there are 3 ways, 4 ways, 5 ways, and they've been having them since long before we were walking on this planet.
We're talking about something completely different than sex.
So I very graciously went to see what it takes to sign up to become one of these quote-unquote members. This is all the age verification that I saw.
Nice.
You did show in the terms and conditions and stuff like that. It did say you need to be above this age. And I mean, I guess obviously
service agreement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Greg's been on the site for like 5 years. He totally read the terms.
Yeah.
Come on, Kathy.
But then again, if she's 17, she's not a legal adult. She can't enter a contract that way.
Right. So, if anything, 1, she violated it. 2, they're not really making this. They're making it. They're not really verifying your identity. They're just giving. All you're doing is uploading pics. They're expecting from their users that no one's going to put in the fact that they're like 12.
What? You got other problems.
Yeah, but
yes.
So this is just dumb.
Probably daddy or uncle.
I'm going to finish signing up now. No, I'm kidding. As a female, as it said there.
Yeah. Look at that. A female.
It's just so sad to see
sugar baby.
A potentially progressive country being so backwards. We should just legalize prostitution and get it over with. Save so much money. Save so many trouble.
Let's legalize weed first, then it will be.
We already have legalized weed.
Not everywhere, dude.
Well, not everywhere, not federally, but it might as well be. I mean, it's going to get there. We're past the watermark on that. Right. We're past Rubicon on that. Now it's just a matter of time.
Right.
There was a day when it was like, maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. Who knows? It's here. We have weed shops every other 5 blocks. Okay, forget it. It's here. And it's only going to be a matter of time. It'll spread like herpes. No big deal.
Did you say you're in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Did they make it legal in Nevada?
In Reno.
There's nuances to it, but
okay.
The weed is legal, but in Vegas you have to consume it in your home. You can't be driving the car down the street smoking on a joint. Gotcha. Can't do it. The cops have been busted on this a lot lately, actually. What they will do is they will park their cop cars outside the weed shop, and they'll just nail people left and right. You opened the bag before you got home.
Because, of course,
this is no longer a closed container. You lit up inside the place. You drove away and lit up a joint. You have a tail light out. Your license, your insurance is out, whatever. And they're catching people left and right for this, which is why right now they're pushing for weed clubs. So, you can go into a place, sit down, have a cup of Jaeger, and light one up.
Gotcha.
And there you go. And also with edibles, it's 3 times as hard with edibles. It's like everybody knows how to make edibles now. So the thing is, it's just a matter of time before it's legalized de facto across the country. The federal side, as soon as our lawmakers can start making profit off of it, then it'll get federal approval. We've got so many senators and congressmen buying up land in Colorado in swaths just to farm weed.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time.
It's incredibly easy to profit off it. You just tax it. That's all you do, and bam.
Right, but I mean, when I say profit off of it, I mean taxing it doesn't put profits in their pockets.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Yes.
Now Colorado did something that pissed off a lot of people, but it was the right thing to do. Colorado said, "Hey, if we make back in taxes on weed over this amount, then from that amount forward, 100% goes back into schools and roads and blah 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 blah." And they did it.
Huh.
They hit that mark. They hit that mark, and they did it.
That's fantastic.
And it just goes to show you. The thing is, your power brokers, again, money, power, and influence. Okay, they're not going to make money off the taxes. The government is. God damn, what was that?
What?
Oh, sorry. Hang on a second.
No,
I just had a massive thunderclap, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I got Minecraft running in the background. So here's the thing: when it's legalized and you can open ABC weed shop, and you're going to make bank selling your weed to the weed shops, that's when they're going to make their money. They're going to make their money by buying 500 acres in Colorado and farming weed and selling it to the weed shops. That's where they make their money. That's where they get their end. Now the thing is, you keep it illegal long enough, you can manipulate the prices. You know, there's all kinds of crazy shit. But the thing is, it's not 1982 again, where we're like, oh gee, I'm gonna hide in the basement and smoke a joint because blah 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 blah.
No, that was the '70s show.
Same thing happened in the 80s. You couldn't blaze without being paranoid.
True.
Now you can just drive across a state line. If you're in a state where it's not legal, you're usually within a couple hours drive of a place where it is.
Now, I have had a thought, because down south of the border, whenever they grow weed down there in Kentucky, they're very protective of their farms. The people who are growing it legally now, do they have to be as protective?
I would say yes, but not as they don't. It depends on who you're protecting from. Before you were protecting yourself from the government. Now you're protecting yourself from competitors.
I would say yes. That, but I would not only say competitors, but also
just people who
just random people.
Yeah,
be like, hey, let's go to a weed farm, take a bunch of weed, and try it out ourselves.
Yeah, 500 acres of weed, and I have to do nothing. All I have to do is go chop some, bushes down and go harvest it. And
that's the other thing too. It's not rocket science. It's not hard to grow the shit.
No.
Yeah, it's not hard. But if I could go, a mile away and chop it down, that could be very enticing to a lot of people. So I think the security would still have to be ramped up in those areas.
Yeah, you can say the same thing about food. I mean, food is grown on giant swaths of land. How come people aren't breaking in there and stealing corn and food? When they're starving.
Sometimes they are. Avocado theft is huge in California.
Heck yeah!
I'm sure that's true, Darren. It's just really funny.
Right? That's going to be my future profession. I'm going to be an avocado thief. Oh yeah!
Hey, there's money in it. There is money in it. There's a lot of people making bank off of recycling food now. You drive around all the places that throw out the food that's more than 8 hours old because the yuppies won't buy it anymore. And then go around and give it to all the food banks.
Yeah, but are you making money at that? I mean,
there's ways to make money off of it. What you do is you tell the restaurant or the bakery, you're paying what $150 per metric ton for your garbage haul away. Give me half of that, and I'll take care of it, and I'll give it to the people who have no food.
Yeah, I could see making some there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, the people who are altruistically giving food to starving people are not Rockefellers.
Exactly. They're not making boatloads.
That's not their goal. Their goal is to find the people living under a bridge, with no food, no money, 5 kids, and a meth habit, and give them a piece of bread to eat.
Yeah.
I came up with this crazy ass idea that would have worked beautifully. I could not get enough people behind me on it, and I still think it could happen. And it was called Hack the Pantry. I came up with this massive idea on how to mobilize the entire hacker community to wipe out hunger and losses in food banks around the country. And it was so fucking simple. It was like almost a no-fail scenario.
A lot of restaurants do that too. Like my wife used to work at Starbucks, and every night they would go through their inventory and damage out product that expired, even though it's still good. It hit the expiration date, and they would usually either toss it, give it to the employees, or if there was a food bank, they give it to. So my wife would come home like sometimes with $100 worth of product every night because I mean that's a lot of the damaged stuff. So hey, still good for another week.
Well, here's the crazy idea. Okay, have you ever seen the dollar stores out there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, now there's a branch of them out here called the Dollar Store Market, and it has all the food, all the crazy. You know, if it's one day over the expiration date, it ends up there. I mean, I bought steak there, I bought pork there, I buy vegetables there. Everything is ridiculously cheap. But on the other hand, they have canned goods coming out their asses. Okay. And it's usually anywhere from 2 to 3 cans for $1, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm fucking around with their website, and I noticed something. They have this mail order service where you can buy their shit by the case at the same price or less and have it drop shipped.
Really?
Yes. So imagine this. You go to DEF CON or Ding Ding Con or whatever, and you collect a shit ton of money from these people. You get your people who don't want to actually do anything. They just want to give money and get the tax write-off. You know, fine. You're a multimillionaire. You give me $100,000. You give me $10,000. You give me $10, okay?
Yeah.
I have this bank account with $150,000 in it. Now, what I do is I go to the dropship webpage at the dollar store. I get a list in one hand of food banks around the country, and I listed what they've got available, and I send each food bank in the country $20,000 worth of food.
Do and all I have to do they have the supply to be able to handle that, though?
Yes.
Or the demand.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, the demand's definitely going to be there.
Have you ever seen a dollar store run out of food?
Oh, no.
Have you ever gone in there and seen, you know, sorry, we're out of canned carrots. We don't have any canned potatoes. We're out of cream of dingleberry soup. Have you ever seen that?
It's so sick.
No.
But no.
I think
these are nationwide companies.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about, you know, perishables and shit like that. That's just not going to fly. Also, food banks generally want canned food. But the thing is, they go in there. You know how these places work, right? Dodo, the forklift driver, has got a pallet of Chef Boyardee's, you know, pig assholes and sauce, right? Yeah. And he hits a bump and drops the pallet, and 20 of the cans break. The company makes an insurance claim. The cans that didn't break get sold off at auction. They end up at the dollar store at 3 for $1.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay? Or you get failed brands. You make a new breakfast cereal made up out of, I don't know, gluten-free dog anus, okay? And Ding Ding the dog doesn't get popular enough to sell, so you've got 300 pallets of this shit that nobody is buying over at the Walmart, so it goes to the dollar store, to the clearance store. This is how these people are making their money. They're getting the product, they're selling it, they're getting it cheap, they're selling it cheap. So who's to say, with no effort, with no more effort than me sitting on my ass with a bank account and a 501c3, that I can just sit here and tap on the keys, and all of a sudden $20,000 worth of canned food goes to every food bank, like 1 in every state or 2 in every state or what have you.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, $20,000 worth. Like, I used to work for a nonprofit that had 2 food banks, and I think $2,000 to $3,000 a month would fill an area about the size of my first floor of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, $20,000 would go a sufficient ways.
And imagine going to all these hacker cons and collecting money for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you even your paper millionaires, okay? Even the kids that only have money on paper would be like, "Oh, instead of drinking, I gave $100,000 to hack the pantry."
Yeah.
Well, fuck, guess what just happened? You just made Thanksgiving happen for 300,000 people.
Yeah, and then but two, that's where the operational side of it would really come into play, because you couldn't just blow it all in one fatal shot. It would have to
absolutely
be
not. What you do is you'd have to verify the places first. Number one, it's going to take a little bit of manpower, but the thing is, no one's going to be making six figures doing it.
Agreed.
Okay, you don't want to become the next United Way.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, there's going to be some work, and then you got to figure out on your authorized list you have 300 pantries spread across the country. Okay, how much do we have this quarter? How much can we send to each place each quarter? And you got to understand that during October, November, December, you're going to get more than you are in January, February, and March.
Yeah.
So you got to start with a fixed amount of money. How much are you going to pledge to each place? They're not going to care. They're going to open their doors and take what you give them. Now, some places may say we're too full, so you swap it to somewhere else, or you're going to get swamped with applications. Absolutely. You're going to have issues with people being complete registered charities. You're going to have some legal shit. But fuck, tell me the EFF wouldn't get behind this.
On a side note, and you guys may not like where my mind just went. I honestly have not heard of a homeless person starving to death. I mean, people are hungry, yes, I know, but I haven't heard of anybody starving to death recently. Are you aware of anybody, or have you heard of anybody?
The reason why that doesn't happen is because they're hopped up on drugs.
Sorry, I just found out
that. You give them $20 and give them a choice.
Yeah.
They will go get a syringe full of heroin before a cheeseburger.
Mm-hmm.
That's why if you see someone panhandling, don't offer them money, offer them food. You can tell who's really homeless and who's a druggie.
Yeah, like anybody that I've ever, assisted, I've taken them to a grocery store. Well,
exactly.
I honestly, I don't let them inside the vehicle because
I've got people I work with right now. I mean, there are guys I know right now, friends of mine, who are like homeless and working shit jobs and literally living out of their cars.
Yeah.
And I hire them to do shit for me.
Well, heck yeah, that's cheap labor.
Well, no, the thing, it's more than cheap labor. I mean, I let the guy come over and use my washer and dryer, and he takes out my garbage. There's no money changes hands.
Guys,
okay.
We'll go back to this in a bit.
I mean, I help people out when I can. I mean, the old Eddie Murphy joke. I do a lot of work with single mothers.
Yeah.
But
all right,
we're gonna go back to this maybe after show notes. And because we're sitting at the 3-hour mark. Further reading, I'm assuming this is who put in the further reading.
Yep. I added the first one. I don't think I added the second one. But further reading, as normal, is we're not really going to discuss it. That's some cool stuff. The first one is XBash malware, and it was a good write-up by a group at Palo Alto. And then there's a second one on here. Probably Cappy added it. Buffer overflow attack on a stack expansion. And it's a YouTube video.
Yep. So that's in follow-up to the attack or the vulnerability that we covered today. So Peekaboo uses a buffer overflow attack. For those that don't know what that is, I put this in there to say, hey, this is the basic idea of how stacks work. It's a video from Computer File. They're great. I love their videos, super in depth, and it's about a 20-minute video, so it's really nice.
Cool.
Further reading.
We'll call it quit for this evening, and we'll hang out after the cast. But everybody have a good week, and catch you next Wednesday.
Hoorah!
Night, YouTube.